Yeah. That's a hell of an applause. That's fantastic. That might even be a little bit more than what Chris Charla got today at the ID at Xbox showing. Listen, guys, what an outstanding... Right? Thank you. This is going to be a great show. What an outstanding show. Guys, it's Friday night, and we've got some great guests here. We got a few folks that are coming a little bit later. They're going to be joining us in about 10, 15... I got one at 10 minutes late, one at 15 minutes late, one at 20 minutes late. But they'll all be on time. It doesn't matter. For you guys, it's going to be great. I want to say, first of all, what an outstanding week, right? We all wait to get to Friday. Friday's a big deal. We've got the weekend. We got gaming. We've got gaming news. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got a new release we're going to be discussing that got somewhere in the high 80s or low 90s. A fantastic game, $40 retail. We'll get into that in a moment. But I want to take a second and say thank you to all of the Mooch Maniacs out there. You guys are all fantastic. Right above that description right there is the join button. You guys know this. We go through it every week, but I want to say thank you to each one of those individuals. You guys make the channel what it is. And while I read out each of these individuals one by one, please feel free to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell if you want. I think all three buttons, if you hit all three buttons at once or within 3 seconds, it's about 2.5 calories you burn. It's not that much work. It's not that much work, and it's a lot of great things that come from it. That being said, let me thank the great Mooch Maniacs here. We got the Sir X-Man, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, Ben Link, Fail, Pyromancer, Frostbite Slash, Zombilla Ice Cream, CustodsX, Hustle and Motivate, who's in the chat. I see him out there. CustodsX is here as well. Hustle, Motivate, AceJunky, Two-Tone SB, Replicant, Damion, JWE316, MumbleRanting Gaming, Tyson Webb 509, Mr. Twister, All Around Gamer, TrueWiddy, Wraith The Emperor, Alex Brett, and DeathSkry. Our major Mooch Maniacs, Bryant Carter, Tactical Gamer, DatGuySmitty, HumaCast, Ice Queen Gaming, The Wise Old Gamer, 4-Star General, Shaun Slamka, Brian Blades, a.k.a. Delirium Blades, VIP Mooch Maniacs, Wendigo Rex, The Great Forkboy Gaming, Darkside 80, MexChe 88, Remarkable Knights, Rich Kreischer, Rated D Demonic, and The Great Percolator 9000. Our honorable mentions are L.D.W, D1rector Productions, and The Great, and I say that even louder, The Great WilmyHood. Shout out to Forever Mooch Maniac Longshot 316. Guys, we got a show for you. We got a real show for you guys. It's exciting. Hope you like the new set. We got some great new footage today as well. But before I go any further, let me introduce... The reason we're a few minutes late is he had to stop. He had to get his latte. Okay? He's getting used to that Redmond weather. But we got him back on the East Coast only for Friday nights, and then back over to Redmond he goes. The Xbox Defense Lawyer is here for you. Xbot448. Xbot, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Brother, what is going on, man? I gotta say, it was a weird
the reason
trip.
We're a few minutes
I don't know where you're getting these pilots from, but the guy was murmuring something about PS Now for $1, and he's like doing all sorts of crazy maneuvers in the air and talking about deals and games and stuff. And he actually made me late. That's
he was a co-pilot. We got him on the cheap. That was the reason you had that issue. I apologize in advance.
You really can't cut the funds with getting me on the show, man.
This is true.
You can't do that anymore. I don't know what his problem was. And then you know what I did? I showed him Game Pass. Everything calmed down, and I got here. So what's going on, bro?
What's up, buddy? Good to have you here tonight. I appreciate you being here. I know there's a lot going on, but then I've got my buddy here, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Brap. Brap, welcome out to the show, buddy. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Another Friday. Great show. Great panel. Looking forward to the topics, man.
Appreciate that. Guys on the panel, please also in the chat, tweet this out. Let everybody know we are live. It's Friday night. And then I've got a buddy here. Listen, I reached out to him. Last week, he reached out to me. This week, I reached back out to him, and I said, listen, okay, we didn't get enough voice of reason on the show. I felt like it was a little less than what I needed, personally. So the great Eric Jackson is back here. And Eric, let me tell you something. Let me just tell you something. Boy, am I glad you're here tonight. Because of all the stuff that's been going on in the past 48 hours, not to mention the last 6 hours, it's been crazy. It's great to have you back on CrossFire. How are you tonight?
Hey, man, I'm doing great.
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 Yes, absolutely.
Great. 2 weeks in a row, man.
Listen, it's an honor.
When have we ever had that?
Never.
Yeah. I actually did a double take when I saw Eric was in the going to be part of
I reached out to him. I said, listen, because we had the great Jeff Grubb on last week, and Jeff's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And it was funny because we were all trying to get a couple of words in here and there because there was so much information to go over. And I said, you know what? I got to get E back on the show. I got to hear what E's got to think because some of these topics from last week are kind of carrying over into this week. So E, I really, really appreciate you being here tonight, buddy. Truly means a lot to me.
Thanks for the invite, man. It's always an honor.
Absolutely. And then I've got here our special guest. And we do have other panel members coming later, but we have our special guest here. Someone that means a lot to me personally, helps the channel out tremendously. It is great to have the one and only, and it's funny because I want to say he's the leader, the head of Gaming Beyond the Box. But the thing is, I don't know if he would appreciate that because he's got so many people that make that show great. The great WilmyHood. WilmyHood, welcome back to CrossFire, buddy. How are you this evening?
Well, other than the pollen is kicking my ass, I am doing great.
Yes.
And so if I sound a little more southern than usual, that's the reason, because I smell fucking pine trees constantly.
Pollen season.
Yeah, dude, bad. But glad to be back. It's been months. I think you've had my entire panel on.
Yes.
And I just have not had a chance, man. And that's why I reached out to you. I'm like, hey, look, I'm taking Friday off. You know, if you got a spot, let's do it.
Listen, Wilmy, it means the world to me when, like I said, last week E reached out to me. This week you did. And I got to be honest with you, that means the world to me when someone wants to come on the show because I think we have a lot of fun on the show. You know, we discuss things. And Wilmy, you know, you are a huge proprietor online of always saying, you know, let's cut the nonsense, right? And I agree with you. But at the same time, it is fun to have great conversation, wholesome conversation on things. And boy, tonight, Wilmy, we need your opinion more than ever. I got news for you because a lot of tonight really is up for interpretation. It's not like anybody could say anybody's right or wrong. There's just so much going on right now, right? I mean,
last time somebody told me they wanted my opinion, it was the IRS, and I wound up paying $32,000, brother. That didn't sound good at all.
Listen, I'm a mooch, but I don't require that kind of money. Well, although
Okay,
if you
good.
want to, you know, it's mooch at. Oh, never mind. Sorry.
I was gonna say he will take at least half. Though,
Absolutely.
if you are
Yes.
offering, you know.
Yes, moochers are always, you know, there's a lot of moochers out there in the chat. I see all you guys out there. A lot of Mooch Maniacs. Guys, please go hit that retweet button. Let everybody know that we are here. Let's start with this because, you know, we do have the Great Crap Gamer that's going to be coming and Slow-Mo and Forte are on the way as well. So I'm going to hold off for some of the meat and potatoes for a moment, but I do want to ask this, and I'll start with the great WilmyHood here. Wilmy, you know, so there's this, speaking of, you know, you're speaking $32,000. Let me up the ante a bit here. Let me take this to $10 billion if you don't mind. Okay.
I knew where you're going.
Yeah. Now, listen, I got to be honest with you. A lot of people complain about Discord, and I've got my gripes. I do, but I genuinely like the service. I think it's the audio's clear. It's a great way to reach out to people. And now we're hearing that Microsoft is, you know, listen. I don't like to usually say Microsoft is going to acquire unless it's written in ink, but I got to be honest with you. This looks like it's almost a done deal. So, in your opinion, what are the pros and the cons to Microsoft? I'm going to give you two questions. What are the pros and cons to Microsoft acquiring Discord? But then I want to follow up with that with this question for you. What do you think is the problem with Microsoft every week seemingly buying everything? Is there an issue to that? And you know why I say that, Wilmy? Because when we were growing up, okay, when you're growing up, you hear like, you know, you never want to have too much under one umbrella. Is that something where you think maybe it starts to come into play if you find out, well, they buy Sega and they buy Konami and they buy Discord and then they buy this and they buy that. And it's like, okay, well, I want them to buy things, you know, because people are like, Mooch, don't you want them to? I do, but there should be a level. I believe there should be maybe a cap, right? There's caps in everything, sports, everything else. So, Wilmy, what do you think? First, the acquisition of Discord, and then secondly, is Microsoft buying everything okay with you?
Well, I think they're getting into Discord because they're wanting to bring everything together.
Yeah.
PC gaming, all of it, seamless, one spot, everybody can communicate. It'll make cross-play a lot easier. And a lot of us do use it. I mean, the big Halo tournament we just did, that is exactly how we organized it. It was all through Discord. Some people don't utilize it, but I mean, you can share multiple video streams all through Discord. You can have separate people come in. Xbox was one of the players. You know, you can have all these different people streaming.
Yeah, I was robbed, by the way. I was robbed, sir.
I heard. Well, I saw. But, I mean, it is a great service. And some of us, I actually do pay for it, even though I really don't use it as much as I used to.
Yep.
I don't see any bad. At least not yet. Maybe we won't have another mixer type issue. But I think they learned a lot from Mixer, and I think, Mixer was just, I don't know. I think they were too far behind Twitch already to get involved with Mixer. I think, it was already just too late for that one.
I think they prematurely dumped Mixer, to be really honest with you, bro. Like, you put all that money and investment in there.
There was so much stuff going on there. You had one of the top people being accused of sexual harassment and all this stuff. I mean, they had a bad situation going. The one thing though about them buying it from somebody that owns their own business, you can't have too many streams of revenue, if that makes sense. Sometimes it is better to put all your eggs in one basket, but sometimes you want different revenues of income.
Yes.
And I mean, they've already proved it with Game Pass, some of their other services. I mean, more power to them. But if you're old enough to remember, Microsoft was actually pulled apart by the government back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody said they were a monopoly.
When it comes to Discord, I hear what you're saying and everything. I feel like, first off, I scratch my head at 10 billion or more, and I'm like, damn, that means that Microsoft, like, they really want this. If that's what's on the table, right? And then you look at what's going on. You look at the Xbox Live party. As soon as over 8 people are in the party, the thing starts getting shoddy, to say the least. People are getting dropped, stuff like that. You look at Microsoft and Xbox's focus on the Xbox platform being in multiple places, being on the Xbox console, being on the PC, being xCloud with your mobile device and stuff like that. I feel like they're investing in this to be their universal party chat system with all the extra quirks that you were just talking about, Wilmy. I think they're going to integrate it all together to make it that one place, regardless if you're streaming on xCloud with your phone, you can still talk to your friends who are on the console. You can talk to your PC buddies that are playing over there. And I think that's where they see their investment here. I think the price is high. I do. But Microsoft and Xbox, they have a vision here. And I think that vision is to make that unified party chat system throughout multiple devices.
Let me say this much too. I want to say real quick, shout out to Fat Nuts out there, who's great. He's outstanding on Twitter as well. He says, Mooch, what's up, buddy? Great. The super chat is working, folks, in case you guys were wondering if that button broke. Listen, I got to be honest with you. We talked about this with Jeff Grubb last week. I want to welcome the great Crap Gamer to the show. Crap, welcome to the show,
what's
buddy.
What's his name again?
The great Jeff Grubb.
No, Fat Nuts?
Fat Nuts is who gave me a super chat.
Oh, my God.
Great
name,
right?
by
Yes,
the way.
yes. But Jeff made a great point last week, right? He said something along the lines of, listen, Microsoft has money sitting in the bank right now, right? This is no surprise to anybody on the show. But, okay, if that money just sits there and continuously just like inflation, this and that, they lose money. So for them to go spend $10 billion, like when you hear Xbox say that, I don't think that's a big deal. Like personally, as we say all the time, I'm not worried about Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo's purse. I don't care. Right? That's a them problem. That's not a me problem. So that's fine. They can go spend whatever they want. The question is it bettering the product? And I do think that Xbox made a couple of good points. Xbox Live Party Chat, by the way, I think it's a very good service the way it currently is, but it could be better.
The sound is good, but as soon as you start getting like more than 8 people into the chat, like, it starts going all crazy.
I must be showing my age here because I don't want more than 8 people in the chat. I'm playing a game. You know what I'm saying? What are we doing here?
That's like, when people say that, add more. I'm like, no, don't add more.
No, I mean, who's throwing the kegger? E, you know what I mean? Like, E, fill me up a red cup, will you? What?
It's like, I got you, man.
We're playing a game. Go ahead, E. My fault.
What Xbox was saying, like, I wanted to ask the question because I don't use Discord that often. But what is the mobile feel like with using Discord as far as chat?
It's much better than Xbox on mobile. For sure. Yeah,
because see, that's what I think. Yeah, what Xbox has a good point on that because there are oftentimes like I'm sitting here like I'm working and someone wants to like chat and I don't feel like turning the Xbox on, so I'll jump in the app and I get disconnected like like almost the entire time that we're trying to chat. So yeah, so if they're trying to like shore up and kind of have things everywhere because it seems to be their thing, play anywhere, they have to have something that's a lot more stable. So maybe that's the play. And then the thing with the 10 billion, it sort of sounds to me like almost with the Bethesda thing, it's sort of like, we're just going to buy out the pool because we don't want anybody else hanging out right now.
Right.
We're just going to do this for the crew. And like, you know what? Hey, I got it. And we're just, and what that does is make other people kind of go, yeah, we're not even getting that part. And we're not even invited. You know, that's like a ridiculous number or whatever. I'm not saying that's a ridiculous number to pay 10 billion. I'm just saying it's sort of like, yeah, we don't even want the headache of like getting into a bidding war.
Well, wait a minute. Let's get back to that though for a second ago. What you just said, Ian, I don't know if this is what you meant, but like I want to kind of discuss that. And it was what I posed the question to Wilmy as well is, where is it that you start to say, okay, I'm glad they're buying these companies up? Because listen, whether Sony had the plan or not to go out and start to buy a Konami or to get invested with Sega or whatever their plan is, I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth. I'm just trying to say there's only so much talent out there. So Microsoft keeps scooping it up. There's pros and cons to that, and nobody talks about that. Nobody ever talks about that. Like, well, come on, Mooch, don't be salty. Stop it. It's not about, I don't care. What do I care? If it's a good game, I go buy it. All I'm saying is this, when everything falls under one house, and we've learned this over history, okay, guys? We know this under history. When one company or one umbrella buys everything or fits everything into one house, it sometimes just doesn't work out as it does on paper. It just doesn't work out. Doesn't play out that way. Is this a situation where we're going to see Microsoft? Because listen, I got news for you. Don't think you go, well, Mooch, you're overreacting. This is Discord and they're done. They're not done. They're not done. And we all know that.
There was a rumor beginning of this year that by the end of this year, there is another major acquisition going down over there at Xbox.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, and that's where I'm thinking that the whole like Sega thing is coming from. Like,
could be.
And I can see Xbox looking at that. You know, there's a cartoon mascot involved in that as well, in terms of marketing, as well as all the IP that they get in a bundle,
right?
When it comes to Sega, like that would be a no-brainer to me. But there in no way are they close to being done. It's like, well,
no way.
You know, who else is going to start doing this as well? Because that seems to be, I don't know. There's, you know, you got Tencent, you know, buying up developers, stuff like that. You know, you got Microsoft over here buying like ZeniMax and, you know, possibly Sega by the end of the year. Like, where's everybody else gonna, you know, chime in here?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. So there's only so much talent. I use this one example, and then you guys can tell me if I'm right or wrong. That's fine. And me and Crap talk about this. We always talk sports, but I mean, I got to be honest with you. You take the NFL, and you had somebody who was very wealthy, and Jim McMahon, I believe is his name. If it's not Jim, and tell me where I'm wrong. He was going to go out, the WWE owner. He was going to go out and start the XFL with a bunch of Vince McMahon. Thank you. I apologize.
Yeah, Jim McMahon was a washed-up quarterback.
Yeah, thank you. That's right.
Bears,
he was. He won a Super Bowl. He did win a Super Bowl. Yeah. But yeah, so it was Vince McMahon. And don't get me wrong. Vince McMahon goes out there and says, listen, I got money. I got a lot of people that are going to support me. We're going to have another football league. Football's too big for the NFL to be dictating this kind of stuff, right? So what do? They go out there, they spend a ton of cash. Problem is, there's not as much talent out there as originally thought. And when Microsoft's out there buying up this company and buying up that company and buying up these 15 studios with all this IP, you know, Sony has to make a move eventually because, well, pretty soon, it's not about they have to respond. It's not about that question. It's about, is there enough talent out there if Microsoft keeps buying all the talent? That's a question I'm posing. I'm not saying I'm right. I just think it's a valuable point to make, at least.
It's just a question that people would ask, like, of any other like scenario.
Yes.
But in some reason in gaming, people are like, yeah, like, you know, it seems like in the bubble, people are like okay with whoever their favorite is buying.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Right, it doesn't matter.
And you know, my thought process on it is, it's like you should be wary of any company that holds most of the cards. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter how nice or sweet they seem on social media. It doesn't matter what image they're presenting as far as consumer friendliness. They're still a corporation.
That's 100%.
At the end of the day, these corporations all out want one thing: money.
Yeah, exactly, Wilmy.
Thank you.
It's not about it's not about family and friends. Oh yeah, we love you in the fact that you love us and you keep rocking with us and you keep giving us the dough. You know, but everybody should be asking that question. I know people kind of get on this thing where it's like, you know, Tencent is seen as like the big demon. Maybe they are. You know, they got shadow companies and everything else. But I'm like, at the end of the day, corporations are still corporations.
That's right.
And if you remember, you know, like with Sirius and XM, when they went to merge, how many months they had to sit and wait because the FCC was considering it a monopoly.
That's right.
Right. And that was satellite radio.
That's right.
Two companies trying to merge, and that went on forever. But nobody in the gaming space seems to ask those questions as far as like the bubble goes. I don't know if the average gamer even really cares, but you know, as we're on a podcast and we have to discuss these things, I think anybody should ask the question about somebody holding all the cards.
That's a great point too. Is
they don't necessarily have all the cards yet. Now, the good thing about like the development space when it comes to gaming, there are a lot of developers out there. We're talking about seasoned talent. We're talking about companies, the studios and developers that have been around for a while. But we also have seen that the indie space does have a lot of talent in there as well, and that's just getting bigger and bigger. So I think it'll be hard. It'll be hard for anybody to judge a monopoly on it because the industry is growing so fast as well.
I don't agree with that.
No, I don't know about that, Xbot. I'd like to sign off on it. Go ahead, Brad.
We're talking seasoned talent, man.
No,
that's what you're talking.
I agree with you in the talent aspect, but I think if Microsoft picked up Ubisoft and let's say EA, that would raise flags. Like that would raise a lot of flags from the SEC.
What do you think if they really are serious about going for Sega though? Do you think that'll cause?
No, I don't think it would, because Sega isn't on the same. Sega's not on the same scale as like Ubisoft,
right?
And I think Sega would probably make sense. So what's happening right now? I think with the gaming industry, there's a lot of consolidation happening right now. One, I think because the cost to make games is really expensive now. And the one thing, like a lot of people aren't talking about this per se with the Bethesda acquisition that Todd Howard brought up, that with Microsoft acquiring them, studios like Arcane can like survive now. They don't have to shut their doors down. That wasn't that,
and they could be as creative as they want to be.
Exactly,
or a Ninja Theory. Like they were almost done. Double Fine. They were almost like, not that they were done, but Tim Schafer said it. It's like, it stifles your creativity when you're sitting there worrying about keeping the lights on and keeping people employed.
And there's certain publisher studios out there that just haven't. They're not up to speed with like the new model to make money, which is like the games as a service, the Fortnite stuff like that. They're just not there. They're kind of still doing kind of that old school approach. You release a game, you hope it sells well, you put it on many platforms as possible. But that's changed a lot. Like there's free to play games that like Genshin Impact is an example of that, which released on mobile and PC consoles. And I think,
dude, my son actually asked me to borrow $50 for that game.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
Right.
I mean, Xbox. That's an example of like the how the landscape's changed, and a lot of these older developers per se like haven't been able to find that Genshin Impact or that Fortnite from their internal studios. So like a Microsoft acquisition, going to Game Pass, that might make sense. But I do think, though, there is something to be said if Microsoft starts holding all the cards in terms of talent, and not just talent, but tools. Because remember, with Bethesda comes id's game engine. I forget what it's called. And also id Tech, thank you.
Yes.
Which they start controlling all the cards in terms of tools that you think about licensing.
Microsoft has all the tools.
He's saying to acquire these companies, tool sets and etc. and their engines.
And then you start thinking, well, wait a minute, that could potentially maybe raise some issues long term,
right?
But I don't, at least right now, I don't see any issues right now, and I think them going after Discord, I don't think that would raise any concerns per se. I think for me, Discord for them it makes sense in terms of broadening that appeal of getting people in the, because look, I know he's not here yet, but Slomo Backslap tweeted something a couple weeks ago. Like Game Pass is Xbox now.
That's it. That's it. And that's the beginning, the middle, and the end. That's the beginning, the middle, and the end. That's it.
Yeah, the Xbox console is just a conduit for Game Pass. Game Pass is Xbox now. Like, it is what it is. It's just Microsoft is focused on growing that that subscription base, because that's what they want to do. And Discord can give them access to an abundance of PC gamers who maybe are stubborn, maybe don't want Game Pass, and maybe you're on Discord now. We're going to give you, Game Pass for, I say $1, but whatever, some kind of discounted price to get people engaged into the service. That's what they want.
I always do this when I do the show, and I think that's why Wilmy really enjoys the show as well. And is this, I always try to pose a question out to everybody, okay? I think it's my job as those to say, listen, here's an idea that I've come up with, and I'm wondering if this is what's going to happen. Now, we talk about this all the time online, but it kind of gets brushed over, and if you say it too many times, people get upset. But the point of the matter is that if Microsoft has to have a, in air quotes, Netflix of gaming, well, doesn't matter, even if you have 23 studios, you need like 80 studios, okay? Because what happens is you've got to start pumping out content quite quick, or you'll lose people's interest in retaining the subscription. A lot of people are nodding their head left and right. No, that's impossible, Mooch. That's impossible. Once I'm subscribed, I'm a subscriber for life. No, that's not true. So my point being is when you have these studios out there right now, like Bethesda and these guys, look at how many Fallouts came out in each generation, right? Like the full Fallouts, not the side ones and this and that. But we had Fallout 4 last generation. The generation before that, we had Fallout 3. Like, my point being is that they're now, because they're in Game Pass, they're going to be asked to move a little bit quicker, right? Move a little faster. We've got to get games out. Matt Booty said this, not me, not Mooch, Matt Booty. He said, and I quote something, well, not quote, but I'm paraphrasing, but it's roughly close enough. We are going to get that AA kind of game out there that has a AAA look to it, but it's a AA type of game because we've got to meet a demand. And don't get me wrong, that's not bashing what he said. It's business, and it makes perfect sense with their structure right now.
At what they're doing, like they have, different teams within each studio working on, kind of like different tier type games. So I wouldn't say that everything that's going to come out is going to be AA with a AAA look or anything like that. I think they're going to
not everything, but
the AAA. I think they're going to give the AAA their time, but you're going to have other teams within those studios working on other projects as well, and I mean, they have enough studios to do that. Do I think they're done? No. I think that there's at least one more major acquisition that's going to happen. That's going to have like maybe a few development studios under its belt. In order for them to be self-sufficient with Game Pass, they are going to offer third party and stuff like that, but they don't want to completely rely on. I remember Mooch saying this back, a few months, maybe a year ago, like they need to have that third party release day and date with Game Pass. They don't want to rely on that. And what they're doing is they're gaining studios. They are buying studios to the point where they can be self-sufficient and, have the third party come out when the developers want that to happen.
I see your point, Xbot. I see your point. No, what you're saying is probably, if you were to say, well, the early Sketchpad for Game Pass, that's probably what their idea was. But realistically, there's delays, right? There's life events like what we're going through with the pandemic right now. There's things that are going to happen in life that you just can't put on pen and paper. Pollen. Right? Or pollen, right?
Pollen.
Right? The Carolinas are knowing that. It's on its way up north. But crap, what's your take on this? And shout out to King Thresh actually made a point. He goes, why are they spending $10 billion on Discord when they can fix what they have for $50 million? That's an interesting point as well. Crap, what's your take on the whole
It also
Discord
comes
thing?
with a consumer base, and it also comes with a base of people that are already using the service.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
I don't really think this has as much to do with Xbox or anything like that. Like, I think more or less this is
PC.
Not even PC. This is just them trying to get into like a whole community aspect. Also, Discord right now is running off of Google Cloud. So they would switch that all over to Azure once, and that's the big thing. That's the big play here. There's 140 million monthly active users on there. They need that kind of community, that user base. That's what they tried to do with, like, I guess Mixer, because if you look at the people that they're competing with, everybody has some kind of big user base service. Okay. Yeah. Google, Amazon, Facebook. They all have something, you know what I mean? They all have some place where they can get all these people to kind of get together, and and Microsoft doesn't have that. So basically, Discord is basically giving Microsoft a kind of access to 140 million monthly active users, including all the top YouTubers and creators and gamers and developers. Right. That's all it has to do. It doesn't have anything to do with party chats. Doesn't have anything to do with any of that.
Right.
This just has to do with them trying to get to this community. And they already have all their stuff on Azure. Then they're going to take those 140 million monthly active users, switch them over all to Azure.
Starting to sound like a takeover.
I mean, yeah. And listen, this is something that they realistically they probably have to do, and it's a drop in the pan. Look, nobody cared that they spent $7.5 billion on GitHub or $26 billion on LinkedIn.
Yeah, they have it
or whatever. Yeah, so it's not really a big deal. It's not. No. This has nothing to do with this. You can't even look at this and think Monopoly.
No, it's like dropping $5 in the mall. Yeah, you're not going back when you get home. You forgot you dropped it. You're like, oh, I got to go back. It's $5. Yeah. You're not going back.
Yeah, this is not as much to do with gaming as people might think. That Azure and communities and monthly active users, and that's basically what it all comes down to for Microsoft. And look, it gets them in good with these places, right? all developers now have their own, their own room or whatever. All the top YouTubers. Look, we're using Discord right now to broadcast over YouTube. Everybody does that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like Microsoft gets a piece of the pie. It's like, they needed to do something because they've been trying, believe it or not, they were trying to buy TikTok because that has a community, right?
Oh,
they
huge community. Massive.
Yeah,
crap.
exactly. They actually tried to buy Pinterest as well.
That's right. I saw that
because
article.
they have a big community. Okay, that's what they're trying to get into. And that really, I think, like Xbox is probably on the back burner when it comes to something like this.
Right.
So, my only thing would be, would they treat it well, or would it get the Skype treatment,
right,
or the the Windows Phone treatment, or the Groove Music treatment, or the Mixer treatment, right? Like,
yeah, that's yet to be.
Which treatment is it going to get? Here?
So I want to.
Microsoft are we going to see?
And I want to talk about that crap. Let me get a couple of these super chats out of the way, but don't lose that train of thought, crap, because I like where you're going with that. Is nobody ever talks about that anymore. Everyone's just like, oh, Microsoft's going to grab this company, and because they grab this company, they're going to be financially just fantastic for the rest of their existence. That's not necessarily true. Doomsayers Network, he says, you guys are forgetting one group. Embracer is also buying a lot of developers. They just bought Gearbox. So shout out to them. Shout out to Royal Boyle 78.
The difference is, though, Embracer doesn't have a box exclusively and trying to lock down these studios to make things to
might be smarter to not have the box. Microsoft doesn't want the box.
Oh, no. Microsoft, listen, if Phil Spencer, if you get him on some truth serum and go, hey, Phil, would you really much rather just be a third party, place and have your games on PlayStation, Nintendo, every single place?
Yeah.
He would say 100% yes.
Absolutely.
Because he doesn't.
Why wouldn't he though? That's a truth. Anybody would say that. I mean, I would say that too. Think about it, crap. Right now, and I don't know if it's because of the pandemic or what it is, but that Mr. Beast, who's very big on YouTube, he's got Mr. Beast Burger. Guess what? You can't eat in there. It's only delivery. Yeah. Guess what? That means you don't have to stock the napkins. You don't have to hear about it. You deliver it. Even if the burger's cold, guess what? We'll get you another one. You know what I mean? We'll send you another one. Right. You don't have to deal with it. You put the product out there, and the product does the work for you. I want to say shout out to Royal Boyle. He says, what's good, CrossFire and Mooch? No lie, but the Stalker 2 did look kind of interesting. Happy Friday, chat. I appreciate that. We are going to get into that. David
BGS, I don't have to read minds. Phil has said he wants Xbox everywhere. He's literally said that. And when they asked about being on PlayStation or Switch, he says he would love for it to be on those platforms.
Yeah.
But it comes down to them not wanting the entire Xbox Live and all that kind of stuff. So he for sure wants it everywhere. He said
Absolutely.
You don't have to be a mind reader. Go look it up. He said it.
Why wouldn't he? That's something I'm going to defend Phil on. Like, if you work at Microsoft, why would you not want that? That doesn't make any sense to say no. New Alpha says, I don't want another Crackdown. I'd rather the studio take their time. I care more about quality.
Crackdown, are you? I think Crackdown's dead.
I think he means of that caliber. Crap.
Oh, okay. Yes. I hear you. Yeah.
That's okay. Yes. And now Eric here with a super chat leads us into another topic, because I do want to kind of get into this because it was big news today. Eric says, huge megaton. PS Now is $1 till March 31st.
Man,
so let me
sign me up.
Now listen, crap. Now hold on. Exactly. So crap. Here's the thing. I know you, and I know that everybody on the panel's got a lot. I want to hear Wilmy here. Wilmy, I'm going to you here first, because I think once I release this to the panel, this might take over a lot of the show. Listen, so everybody out there knows about the whole dollar deal that Microsoft did back in the day, and they matched what you had on your Xbox Live Gold, and that membership, they paired up. And then they've been doing dollar deals. Just a few weeks ago, Brap and I were talking on CrossFire, and somebody said, no, Brap, it's on Cheez-Its right now. You can get 2 weeks of Game Pass on Cheez-Its. Okay, so it's everywhere. And they showed us pictures. It's legit. Right? It's everywhere. It doesn't matter. It's on, Twinkies, everything. It doesn't matter. My point being is this. So now it's $1, and it's just a promotion that says, try the product for $1. Now, I guess I talked to a couple people in the PlayStation camp. They were saying, well, Mooch, this is nothing new. They actually had a 7-day trial for free a while back you could do. This is just another. Everybody else is saying that this $1 for a month is the same exact treatment that Microsoft did with their $1. PS Now, to me personally, Wilmy, and tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong, as it currently stands, because we can't talk about the future. This is something we don't know. But as it currently stands, PlayStation Now doesn't exactly look like a mirror image of Game Pass to me personally. It just doesn't.
It doesn't, because I'm a subscriber.
Okay. Good. I want to. That's
when it's first offered.
Great. What do you think?
I think it's like maybe $60 a year, something like that. Is what I paid for it.
Sounds about right.
I found a few games in there. I mean, I found BioShock, the remaster. I just went back through all those. I mean, there's some decent games in there. There's some that I won't play, but Game Pass is the same way.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of games in Game Pass that I'm just never going to play. So, I mean, they're both, they're not terrible. And the sad part is, as much as we may not want to admit it to each other, this is going to be the future at some point.
Yeah.
This is going to be, games as a service is going to be what we're going to have to deal with.
I do. There's something to that, Will, where I can't argue with you. I think that it's going. Each of them is going to. Well, listen. That's the other thing that's got to kind of everybody in the everybody on every podcast says I told you guys. All right. Well, here's the thing. Listen. It's not I told you guys.
You can go back on your channel, bro.
You can go back on.
How many times?
No, that's fine. Xbox, you and 7 million other people. So your award is in the mail. Listen, my point being is that right? No,
what am I getting?
It's a scratch and sniff sticker of an Xbox and PlayStation logo next to each other, saying "Let's get along."
I'm sending you a box of pollen.
Yes, a box of pollen coming from WilmyHood, fresh from the Carolinas. That's Carolina pollen. Yes, that's fantastic. But I mean,
some beach sand in with it.
I want the beach sand. I think ultimately it is, but I think you're going to see that even with me agreeing with you, Wilmy, I still think there's going to be enough of a separation between I don't think Sony's just going to go ahead and do this day and date thing today. I think if that happens, it's when you start to see the console, because Sony's in a different predicament than Microsoft. We just got done doing the whole Discord and the Bethesda and the ZeniMax and the other acquisitions that Microsoft has bigger plans that really don't revolve around the box. Well, Sony doesn't have that. Sony needs the box.
Yeah, currently, is Microsoft, and it's almost caused them it's caused them issues in the past. Microsoft is playing chess. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, I'm not fanboying. Sometimes Sony just plays checkers.
That's right.
Microsoft is looking forward 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
They look way ahead.
Which
we don't see
before.
it. Yeah, and sometimes it comes back to bite them in the ass.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, Wilmy, that's what they did with Xbox Live. It's a great point. Xbox Live was really
Xbox Live, Ethernet, all those different things.
They're playing for the future, and these guys know the future because why? They fucking own Windows.
Right. That's more of what it is. It's not necessarily Wilmy. It's not necessarily that they know the future. It's the idea that they can tell us what the future will be.
Exactly.
That's the key that we leave out.
They tell us what their vision of the future will be.
Right?
Well, yeah. If you control if you control all this stuff, you can pretty much dictate certain parts of the future.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to dictate to us what we're going to do, how we're going to ingest it. That's what they're going to do. And that's the thing. And because I'll be honest with you, let's be honest. We love. I'm guilty of it. Every week we say that Game Pass is the Netflix of gaming. We do have to understand something. They are different types of media. They just are. If you want to say, Mooch, I don't agree with you, that's fine. That's your right. But to say that you're going to sit down, have a bowl of popcorn, and fall asleep in the middle of a Disney Plus show, that's your prerogative, okay? But you're not going to go ahead necessarily and want to pay $10 and $15, which, by the way, if Disney Plus is charging us $30 for the new movie and going up $1, you can guarantee everybody that Game Pass will be going up at some point in the next year or two. So don't say no, it won't, because Disney's loaded. Disney also shits money like Microsoft does, okay? Let's just be honest. So if they're going up, Microsoft their plan, like Wilmy just said, their plan is to go up. That being said, they're telling us this is how you're going to ingest media, but not everybody wants to play that way. I personally have people that aren't in the gaming community. They do have an Xbox or a PlayStation at home. They buy NBA 2K, they buy Call of Duty. Listen, it doesn't matter. Even if that's the way media goes, then fine. They'll buy the one game digitally online. They're not going to participate in a Game Pass or a PS Now structure because that's just not the type of game. That's not the consumer they are. It makes sense. It is the way it is. I know you're probably chomping at the bit here because we need a little bit of logic. What's your take on this? I mean, is it something where you see this dollar deal and you go, wow, this is exactly what Microsoft's doing? Sony's just copying the Microsoft playbook.
No, not at all, because it's like we've talked about before. The Microsoft variant of it was a no-brainer. We told the story where we had the discussion in the BRAP DM after they presented that, and Forte showed that to us, and we're like, no, that can't be right. And then when we all looked at it, it's like, done. That makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
It's already integrated in the Live. I'm already a Live subscriber. I'm not going anywhere. Why shouldn't I do this, right?
Right.
The PS Now thing is for a month. I'm not going to do it. I don't really have a need to do it. It's different if they said, hey, we're going to now implement this to where PS Now is now integrated into PSN, and your existing PSN subscription will now roll over and blah, blah, blah. Then I'm like, done. I'm already there anyway. I might as well do it. I have really no need to do it. I mean, except for trying PS Now, but even with that, I'm so backlogged on different things, and like, there's tons of games on Game Pass. I'm just like,
that's my point with PS Now and with Game Pass is we all sit here and we're like, and Wilmy, I pick on you just because me and you had this conversation. We both have a zillion of these older games. You're like, Mooch, I've got so many PC games. You're like, I think you told me I think it was last time you were on the show. You're like, next time, if I started today, I wouldn't finish by the time I was passed away. You're like, there's no way I get to all of them. So when someone's like, but Mooch, but Wilmy, there's 250 games in Game. Who cares? I can't get to the ones I own. I can't even play these.
And let's be honest, like Wilmy said, there's things in it. It doesn't matter. It's 250. There's just things in it you're not going to play.
Then there's that aspect. You're just not interested in it. You know what I mean? Because
but that's the whole thing when it comes to Game Pass. Like they want a variety out there. They want there's going to be games that people don't play, but they're hoping that there's enough variety in there that there's games that just about every type of gamer wants to play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the whole thing about it. If you don't have variety, what's the point? Yeah, but if you don't have variety, then what's the point of doing it?
Because you're trying to hook into so many different demographics and get them to invest and subscribe and stuff like that. And when it comes to PlayStation Now, I mean, it's a good thing to try to get more people involved and to subscribe and to have deals. You know what I'm saying, from time to time. But I haven't seen anything that Sony has done with PlayStation Now that would even compare to the deals that Xbox was doing to get people involved in Game Pass.
Thank you. That's my that was my point. Go ahead.
Two different approaches. Like people act like because there's a service, right? That's the be all end all. There's always going to be the option there to buy games because games leave the service. Okay, like we all can subscribe to Netflix or Disney or whatever, but you can damn sure bet that you can buy those movies and shows anywhere you want, digitally, DVD, Blu-ray, however you want to buy them.
Yep.
Okay, you're going to be able to do that.
Amazon
Microsoft
Movies now.
Sony. Yeah, Microsoft isn't Sony. Sony isn't Microsoft. They could do things differently. I do feel like Sony is going to totally revamp their PlayStation Now because it was originally only
for that.
It was only a streaming service. Right. So you have that people think that it's only a streaming service and most people have no desire to stream video games that. So there is that confusion, right? Where so they have to totally kind of media blitz that, maybe come up with a new name, maybe incorporate PS Plus into it like that. But I think they can still do things differently. They don't have to put I don't believe Jim Ryan most of the time, but I believe him when he says that their big AAAs need a theater launch. Okay. They cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make. Unless you have 75, 100 million people paying full price for your subscription service, you're losing money at that point. So Microsoft can afford to lose money. Sony can't. That's why they're going to do things differently. But I do see them adding some stuff in there. Maybe, like Destruction All-Stars would have been something. Yeah. Like, okay, that's a day and date things. They got that Oddworld game going day and date, right? Nice. That's another thing. I think they're going to put some smaller stuff in there. Stuff like Concrete Genie would have been perfect for that. The Medieval remake, right? Put that into your service. But the Last of Us 2s and the Ghost of Tsushimas and all that stuff's still going to be $60, $70. And, and maybe that stuff can go in a year later.
Crap. Right? Can I throw a curveball at you? What if they pull something? If let's jump into the future. This is not going to happen in the next 12 to 24 months, in my personal opinion. Let's go like 36 months out, right? And Sony goes, you know what? We're going to go ahead and really have our new revamped PS Now do something very similar to Game Pass. I think they're going to do something very similar to what Disney Plus did. If you subscribe to a PS Now in the future and they end up doing a day and date in that service, it's not going to be day and date with what you pay. It'll be what Disney's doing with like the new Black Widow, where you'll end up having to pay an additional $30, $40, $50 if you want that game brought to you day one conveniently in your home. So you're still going to pay for the game. It may be at a slight discount than the $60, $70 price now. Maybe it'll be $40 or $50 because you're already a member. It's a perk for you. But Sony has that. They've got that dish. And when you go, Mooch, give me an example. The example is this. Every single one of us, no matter where you live, I don't care where you live, we all have buffets everywhere. Now, I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm speaking only for myself. I don't like buffets. That's a me problem. Okay? I just don't. I don't like them. to me, these Game Passes and these PS Nows are like buffets. I prefer, when I want a steak, I go to a steak place. When I want authentic Mexican food, I go to an authentic Mexican restaurant. You know, it's just the way it is. Same thing for Italian food. I don't want to get the watered down noodles at the buffet. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't want pasta noodles at the buffet. I'm sorry. So that's a me problem. But I'm just trying to say to you guys that this is not what every consumer wants. And it's funny because we all are in this bubble online in the community and we're like, well, you can't say that, Mooch. This is just the way it is. No, it's not. That's not the way it is for everybody. And I think that when you look at it, right, it's just not that simple. So I thought it was really funny when we saw the dollar deal for the 1 month. Everybody's like, well, there you go. That's it. PS Now is now Game Pass. And I'm like, what? But did I miss?
They'd have to do that shit for years.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's not the same as Game Pass. I mean, like, obviously the biggest differentiator is the day and date stuff, first party, right? Like Game Pass has that. Like, and the thing with PS Now, like a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of content on PS Now. Like, there's probably hundreds and hundreds of games that you can access on PlayStation Now. It's actually a pretty decent service. I'm kind of surprised that Sony doesn't talk it up enough. Probably the way they should. But look, I do think at some point though, I think Sony's going to pivot here. And maybe not now, maybe in 3, 4, 5 years.
Right.
They probably will. They're
going to do something.
Probably make,
yes.
They're gonna, I mean, they will, because look, at the end of the day, there's something to be said from reoccurring revenue, right? Like if you can get, $50 a month for people, and like I think we called it, Mooch, the old gym membership thing, right?
Yes.
Where, I mean, like, there's something to be said for that. Like, I mean, Microsoft sees it. I mean, it's worked for Netflix. It's worked for other companies. And I think that in the future, we're going to see variants of that. I don't think maybe Sony does something more like Disney where, they do, $30 releases per se, like with the Black Widow on Disney, right? And they charge you $15 a month. I mean, I could see that. There's certainly value in PlayStation's IP, I think, where enough people would say, you know what, I want to play this day one as opposed to waiting 90 days to play this game as part of my subscription fee.
Yeah. So
there's going to be variations. I think the pie's going to be big enough in gaming, and gaming is so big right now, and it's such a big revenue generator. I think it's generating more money than movies, music. I think we're just going to see variations of subscription services. I don't think it's going to be a one side or one. It's going to be like everything's going to be like just like Game Pass. I don't see that happening.
Now, speaking about that, once you think all this the whole pandemic thing is over,
yes,
right? Because here where I live, almost everybody, we've had millions of people vaccinated.
Yep,
and some of us were unlucky enough to catch it already.
Right, that's right.
Are we talking about pollen?
No.
Just want to clarify that, Will. We just want to make sure.
Right now, it's hard to tell the fucking difference, dude.
Right? But, is it a variant or is it pollen?
I don't know yet. I'll let you know if I start getting the headache and the body ache.
It's a variant caused by pollen. There you go.
But do we think that once everybody's able to get out of their house again? Because, people have been boxed up for a year.
It's a good question. Real good question.
When people are able to get out, go to the bar, go hang out with their buddies, go do things again. Is gaming going to take a hit?
Hey, Wilmy, I have a theory. I think we're going to see when this pandemic's over, STDs are going to be on the rise.
Oh, they will do.
Pregnancies, new kids born.
Oh God, yeah.
Divorces.
Pregnancies were already up because nobody was going anywhere. They were home.
Well, that too, yeah.
Right. So we've all been ingesting this home media, right? This internal entertainment.
Sales are going to go up.
And I think the point. No, I think this is a valid question by Wilmy. And it's funny that you say that because I'm just talking to a friend of mine who was playing some Call of Duty last night, and he owns a PlayStation 5. Ready for this, guys? It's not a long list. And Call of Duty. That's it. Wrap. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. And he literally said, him and his wife are vaccinated. And they have been absolutely stringent. They haven't moved from the house outside of any work, and they're both working from home. So anytime they really had to go out, they were wearing masks the whole nine. They were, conscious for their in-laws, etc. Hear me out. They literally said, hey, we're both vaccinated. Things are starting to, lighten up a bit. They've already made plans to go, and they're going on vacation. They're going here. They're, like Wilmy said, they're going out. I mean, they don't live in New York, But I was playing a little Call of Duty, and it was fun to hear. He's like, we're out of here. And that's what Wilmy's saying. Wilmy's saying the minute that this thing actually releases a little bit, where we're able to kind of go back out and start to live semi-normal again, this media that you're seeing everybody ingest, and we're seeing these unbelievably skyrocketed numbers by Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, that number will drop whether we like it or not. And I think these companies also know that. Go ahead.
It probably will. And I do to Wilmy's point, I think Earth is going to be having a big raging orgy when this thing's over with, right? Like, I really do think it's gonna be a raging orgy. It's gonna be, it's gonna be nuts.
Brad, a bit charged up tonight, man.
I was just gonna say, is Brad opening up?
What Brad has on his mind right now.
Is Brad opening up a new Studio 54? What's going on?
No, I think it is. I think we're gonna see a return to the 70s. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh no.
Man,
I really do. I think it's gonna be nuts. And
it's been.
I think Brad's sitting there with an open house coat with the hamburger.
Sitting there listening to this right now, getting ready.
Listen, it's been business as normal
and
here.
Ricky about to make his 8th baby out here.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, hey, don't say that, Slow-Mo. And I can't wait for you to play Blood.
Flatten the curve here, so.
Right, that's true, crap. That is true. It's been business as usual.
We haven't had shit. There's been no shutdown, no stuff. Like, I think it's different for every place. But here, it's been pretty much business as usual anyway, and there's no, nonsense, no craziness here. I think it'll be everybody will kind of do their own thing and.
It depends though, crap. Because it was business as usual. A lot of the other states that were cooped up, we'll put it that way. It might be a couple of month rage fest for a few.
Might want to
folks.
look at your leaders.
Crap is not even joking.
Right?
On the news in South Beach, nothing was different. It was like wide open.
Oh yeah, it was a party.
I think today at 5 p.m. we open back up here where I live.
Oh, there you go, Wilmy. That's a great example.
Rager, Wilmy?
There's a Rager at Wilmy's. I'm going there right after this show.
No. Hey, remember, guys, I've got a grandson now. Okay.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Wilmy's. That's right. The party hat has been passed on.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the great Gaming Forte, who's going to be joining us shortly. Gaming Forte says, and this is a bit of a moment ago. He goes, crap must have been listening to me on Brap yesterday was our last topic. Shout out to TrueWiddy. He says it's called Xbox Network now. So buying Discord for $10 billion is just to say we don't have 18 million now. We shot up to 100+ million with Discord. Number padding investors. Shout out to TrueWiddy for that thought. Viper XT says PS Now for $1 is overpriced. They can get people to sign up for that free today. They put first-party games day and date, and I sign up immediately. So Viper being a big fan of Game Pass right there. And TrueWiddy comes back and says PS Plus doesn't need to be in PS Now because games in PS Now doesn't need to be in PS Plus. That's online. However, Sony doesn't need a Game Pass. PlayStation fans buy games. It's funny because we always say PlayStation fans buy games. I know where you're coming from with that, TrueWiddy, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but it's because Sony's games are, let's be honest, they're different, right? They are single player. They are if you're gonna play the game, you're gonna go out and buy the game. Microsoft's games being multiplayer and also being seemingly continuations all the time, kind of how it's like season 1, season 2, season 3. Look at Gears. What season are we? Gears 5, season 17 coming up.
Look at it this way, right?
It's all right.
You're onto something because people that are like, oh man, if they Sony puts all their stuff day and date, I'm there. Be careful what you wish for because again, Sony and Microsoft do different styles of games. Like you said, Microsoft they want to do things where they can, get you to pay transactions and keep it going. Look, Forza is going to be games as a service. Sea of Thieves is a games as a service. Halo's about to be games as a service. Gears of War is a games as a service. Everything that they do is either pretty much going to have some kind of multiplayer element into it, and we're yet to see, and probably some kind of microtransaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would not want Sony to do that. They can have, and that's the difference. Like, if I would rather pay for a game and not have all kinds of transactions and ads and bullshit and half-finished nonsense.
Right.
Play the game
probably with microtransactions.
Beginning,
So you
middle,
don't know.
And, well, listen. Gears of War has microtransactions. Sea of Thieves has microtransactions. It's been confirmed Halo Infinite's going to have microtransactions.
Yeah, but you can also earn everything in the game.
But I don't care. I'm saying, listen, why do I need? You know what I'm saying? I can earn it. Have you seen the problem with Gears of War? One of the big reasons why I don't play Gears of War anymore is because they fucked it up beyond all recognition with all kinds of transactions, paying for kill animations.
Let's talk.
You know what I'm saying? Play 300. play 300 matches before you earn enough shit to do something. Like that's a problem. Like if
Right.
because stuff is in Game
Can I
Pass.
just say something real quick? Like
Yeah.
when it comes down to it, you said, Sony has different types of games and all that good stuff, single player focus,
Absolutely.
all that good stuff. And my ideology, my mentality is as long as they keep the quality of the single player and stuff going, why not have a multiplayer element as well? You can have both sides of the coin. Like, it's game
That's
development.
not what he's.
You know
That's
what I'm saying?
Xbox. Guess what? I think you're honest. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think that's what Crap's
If they do
necessarily
multiplayer,
disagreeing
they
with
have
you.
Microtransactions there that feedback into their pocket.
When
and
you
their
say
development for more games.
I have
not
this,
what I was talking about.
what Crap's talking about is yes. What you're saying, Xbox, is you can achieve everything in the game. You don't need to buy it. However, when it is something like that, what do they usually do? Buy this for 99 cents or play 7,000 matches. You're like, what? Come again? What? What was that? She's 7,000 matches? I gotta go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
They kind of push you towards the payment.
They push you to do the payment because it's easier. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
they try to recoup their money. Look, they probably didn't recoup their money for Gears 5. I mean, we haven't heard any numbers, but they had 3 million players, and they never updated it after that. You know what I mean? So obviously that game isn't selling millions upon millions like it used to, and so they have to recoup it somewhere. And in a game like Halo Infinite, it costs $500 million to make, maybe more now because of the delays and stuff. I mean, they're not going to recoup that through sales, so they're going to have to recoup that through other means. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff costs money. Microsoft can afford to take the losses on it, but I don't think Sony can. That's the thing that I'm trying to make. Plus, from what I've seen, the games that they put in Game Pass, so far in the Microsoft game, we haven't really seen any big AAAs lately. But I'm interested to see what they do. Are they watered down? I'm really interested in Halo. Does it have a beginning, middle, and an end for a campaign? Right. It needs to have look, Ghost of Tsushima had a beginning, a middle, of an end, and then they added some online stuff later that we didn't even know about. Cool, right? Free stuff. I like that. But the game has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Right? You got that's what I like about video games. I don't want to see them like feed us these little bits and pieces. You know what I mean? Because it's
Halo Infinite is going to do exactly what Halo 1, 2, and 3 did. There was a beginning, a middle, and an end for the games, but instead of buying the next sequel, they are going to come out with the content to add into Halo Infinite for the Halo Infinite.
Well, I'm interested to see how they work that.
Right. We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know how they're going to implement that yet. And don't get me wrong, Xbox, you have every right to be positive on that front, but Crap also has the right to be a bit more skeptical. Because
I hope they do a good job.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like you have to be careful, because would Sony have to add a bunch of microtransactions to their games? You know what I'm saying? Would you have to cut back on something? That's the thing, though. Would you have to get them out fast? Would you have to get your games out faster? Right? That's all stuff that you would have to worry about
out there. Do you not think that Sony wants to get in on what is the most popular thing out in gaming?
They
right
already
now?
make money off of Fortnite, though. They make a ton of money off Fortnite.
Okay,
it's
but
called
you don't think they want more?
microtransactions.
They're a corporation, just like Microsoft is, just like Amazon is, just like Google is, and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, making more money is what drives that engine, bro.
Well, that's why they're making movies out of their IP now.
Okay.
Right.
I mean,
you have to, but you have to understand, Sony realizes that they have this product that you can't really get anywhere else, right? Like they have this quality product, and they do something better than anybody else, which is single player narrative games. They've said this multiple times. Okay, look at Ghost of Tsushima, 7 million copies sold. I mean, that's an incredible feat. Okay, that's a huge number for an exclusive game. They're already making a sequel.
If Sony can do something to where that same kind of like mantra, that same kind of framework that Fortnite has, that's successful, they will definitely do that, and that'll dwarf any 7 million.
Fortnite is successful because it's on everything. It's on my watch.
Right. Let me do something. First of all, I want to introduce the great Slow-Mo Backslap is here. Slow-Mo, welcome to the show, buddy. And you couldn't have actually joined us at a better time. So we're talking about the whole dollar PS Now thing.
Can I chime in real quick?
Go ahead. I did want to get Slow-Mo's take on it too. Go ahead.
Real quick, I just want to congratulate Slow-Mo on 1,000 subs.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
job, brother.
And Slow-Mo.
Yes.
You're playing Bucks next. Can't wait for that.
Slow-Mo, listen, the day you're doing that, I'm taking the day off from work, so it'll be a great...
And I'm not having 8 babies, by the way.
Okay.
I heard that earlier.
Congrats to Slow-Mo, absolutely.
Yeah, congrats, Slow-Mo. Seriously, man. Congrats, man.
Slow-mo, what's your take on the whole dollar PS Now thing? We were kind of we went around, we did a round table here. What's your take on this? Is this all of a sudden mean that Game Pass now, PS Now is Game Pass?
No, this is just them,
doing a promotion, right?
Yeah, they're just doing a promotion.
Yeah.
It's no different. Like people over
$2 Big Macs,
Game Pass,
same thing.
Game Pass for $1. I'm like, it's not game. You don't get. Well, I mean, unless you got grandfathered in with the whole, let me convert my Xbox Live over to Game Pass, but eventually that's going to run out. But it's not $1 forever. You're not like, I'm just paying $1 a month into infinity, and there's no way that's going to work. Like that always was kind of like a fallacy to begin with. So them doing it means really nothing. It's a promotional thing. We see it all the time with any kind of sub service. I see Hulu all the time sending me emails. Hey, sign up for Hulu for free for 7 days. And it's just like, I mean, like, yeah, I could forget to cancel. Exactly.
Stadia,
that's exactly what they wanted.
I don't know if Wilmy has the same problem, but so Stadia won't leave me the hell. Ever since I canceled August of last year, they won't leave me alone. So you're right. No, you're right. Mooch, we miss you.
Evil.
Yeah, right. It really is.
Call from them, and I thought it was going to be one of those, about your extended car warranty.
Yeah.
Nope. It was fucking Stadia.
Wow. They have no remorse. They don't care, Wilmy. They don't stop.
That was a hell of a 2 weeks, Mooch.
It was a good 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I mean,
but that's
go ahead.
That's how this stuff works. It's a 2 week thing. It doesn't mean that the entire service is exactly like Game Pass. Or are they doing day and date?
Right.
No.
No.
What are we talking about? That's really, yeah.
That was my point today. Yeah. It was just to say, now listen, you can never speak in absolutes, right? Slow-mo, we say this week in and week out. Like, that's the point. But will they do something similar in the future? Maybe, because we were saying that's probably the future when you go past the boxes is going to be some sort of not streaming, but what is it there? I'm trying to look at here. Service content, something like a Hulu, a Disney Plus, a Game Pass. But that's not where Sony is right now, and they don't need to be. They've got that exquisite dish that's exclusive to their restaurant. They don't have to cater to everybody right now.
I think the most I can see them
with a service.
I can see them doing is they could look at the averages of their first party games and when their sales kind of like fall off a cliff,
right,
so to speak. They can look at the average of that and say, okay, if it's 8 months or a year, whatever. We will let everyone know, hey, with our first party games, they will go into PS Now a year after release. So that like you start to get more value out of it than what you're currently getting. Because I was listening to I think BitCloud a little bit earlier. They were talking about how BitCloud was talking about how he wanted to play the entire Resistance series. And that those Resistance games aren't in PS Now. And I'm just like, yo, that's your old catalog. Like, why don't you have your old shit in here?
That's right.
Like, get your old stuff in there. That's ridiculous. So, like, they're not using the service the way they're not getting the full value out of it.
They're not.
Take your old catalog, put it in PS.
Yeah, why is it you can only play Resistance 3, not 1 and 2 in PS Now?
I think some of it has to do with the architecture, the cell architecture of the PlayStation 3 and stuff. And PlayStation
figure
2.
it out, man. I mean, like this is
but I think
if a dude, some dude, in his boxers and a wife beater and his basement can emulate that game.
That's
put
right.
It on PC.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Hey, Slow-mo, what did Nintendo do? They just took the emulators that everybody else built.
Exactly.
Yeah, they did.
I agree. That's
you
$60
for it.
$60, right?
They can make it work. It's about actually wanting to do it.
They need to do that.
So the great gaming Forte is in the super chat here. He says, unlike Xbox Game Pass, you don't own the games, but if you have PS Now and pay $30 for The Last of Us 3, we'll let you own the games. If so, love it. If not, oh well. I'm not necessarily, guys, maybe I read that wrong. I apologize.
Game Pass either,
didn't seem like it was well, yeah, exactly.
You can buy them at Game Pass at a discount.
Yeah, but I mean that's but in the service you're not,
Don't get me wrong. I love that they have the option at a discount to buy in Game Pass. I really do. But let me be honest with you. Just from being a Game Pass subscriber right now, I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it. I'm not going to pay twice. Like, if I'm going to buy it, I'm going to go buy it. Like, why am I going to play? Let's use Outriders, for example. So I decide I'm going to play Outriders on Game Pass, which I am. Okay, so I'm paying. Let's say I'm not a dollar deal guy right now, and I have the $10 a month. So for 2 months, I play Outriders. That's $20. Then I can buy the $60 game on sale, 10% off. I'm paying more than the retail price. My point being is, if I'm gonna buy Outriders, and that's my intent, I'm just gonna buy it. Like, I'm not going to do Game Pass. If I have Game Pass, I'm going to enjoy it on Game Pass. I'm not going to buy it. So I like that the option's there, but when people are like, well, Mooch, you can buy it at a discount. Why would I do that? Like, why would I do that? It doesn't make sense. It's like going to a buffet and being like, hi, can I buy a doggy bag to leave? What are you talking about? Sit down and have another plate of lo mein. It doesn't matter. What are we doing?
So what you're saying is, okay, let's say the game's leaving Game Pass.
Right.
Okay?
Yes,
let's say
exactly.
it's in Game Pass for 60 days.
Yes.
It's leaving.
Yes.
You're enjoying Outriders. Like,
Correct.
You love it. You can't get enough of it. You
Right.
play it every day. It's your jam. It's leaving Game Pass, so you're just not going to play Outriders anymore?
I'm pretty sure I can go see my good friend Gaming Forte, and I can get it cheaper than the 10% deal in Game Pass. I could probably go to...
I think it's 20% off.
Right, I can go to...
It's 20%.
Oh, is it 20?
Yeah,
Okay,
like
my fault. I
20%,
apologize.
yeah.
I stand corrected. I'm just saying, but don't get me wrong. Great example by Slow-Mo. But I'm saying there's other alternative methods to buying the game cheap after 60. After 60 days, everything drops like a lead balloon.
But it's about engagement, though. If you're engaged in that ecosystem,
Yes.
the likelihood of you going to, like, see Forte to buy that game
Mhm.
is, like, slim to none. At that point, you're invested. You're like, you know what? Why am I going to go to the store? It's right here, 20% off, done and done.
I guess so, but that's not me. But is there a customer out there? There is.
You don't have to waste the gas.
Yeah,
you don't have to go to a
gas,
GameStop
yeah.
and have a Gaming Forte try to sell you insurance on the disc.
Poor Gaming Forte.
You don't have to do any of that stuff.
They wild me out. They're like, you want to buy insurance for this game? I'm like, get the hell out.
You don't have to
It's only $5.
Like,
No.
at the GameStop door. You don't have to worry about all
No,
that.
don't get me wrong. Everything you guys are saying holds water, and there's a customer for that. There definitely is. So I can't say that you're wrong. You're not wrong. By the way, Gaming Forte's in the super chat. Hope he's not angry. TrueWiddy says here, Steve. I love the CrossFire podcast chat, man. You guys are awesome. You guys keep bringing up the great Steve Jobs. Yeah, he says Steve Jobs said Microsoft has no creativity. They are a shell of a corporation doing Game Pass. Do you Xbox can ever get? Do you ever think Xbox can ever get an award like Sony's been getting as far as maybe those trophies he was talking about at the this past week's award ceremony?
I think they could. They could.
Oh, absolutely. You can't speak in absolutes, TrueWiddy. We know that, right? You can't. Never say anything in absolute. Go ahead.
I was to say the point of Steve Jobs, like Steve Jobs basically said, like and I'm paraphrasing, like basically the key to success is basically cannibalizing something you've been successful at, right? And they did that with, remember
multiple
the iPod, they released the iPhone, right?
That's right.
And Microsoft is kind of doing that right now with Game Pass in some way.
It's a good point.
They are
a real good
disrupting
point.
the industry.
Yeah.
They really are. I mean, the Game Pass is definitely, I think, in my opinion at least, a disruptor in the gaming industry.
It is, and it's funny, and Wilmy, I want to go to you here too, because this is something that, like, when Game Pass was just early getting started, before everybody was kind of like, it's great, like, right, before everybody was wearing Game Pass is great T-shirts, everybody has one.
Hey, Mooch, can I say something real quick before you ask this question to Wilmy? I think this Outriders going into Game Pass is very pivotal for the service, because
absolutely,
I think that if Outriders becomes really successful, I mean, it's a looter shooter, so with its success is very different than, say, other games. A looter shooter wants long-term engagement from the player, so they want people to get in the game, but they want people to stay in the game. And so if that turns out to do well with Outriders on Xbox, the reason why I think it's so pivotal is that other publishers are looking at this, and they're going to be like, hey, I may not put my marquee game of the year in Game Pass, but that other game that I got, that's like, that's kind of like second or third on the hierarchy of what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And we're kind of unsure on how it's going to be. Maybe we could put that in Game Pass.
Absolutely.
So it's really kind of benefiting Microsoft a lot if it works out well.
It sounds like this is a no-brainer because they just acquired them. But Fallout 76 is another great example. It's going to do great in a Game Pass, right? Outriders was basically very mediocre from the audience's response after it first came out with the demo. People were kind of lukewarm. Myself personally, okay. Well, think about it. If the average is lukewarm, there's some hot, there's some cold. I was on the hot. Right. I like it. I personally like it. I can't wait to play the game. That's me. I'm not telling you guys to like it, but it was medium, right? It was kind of lukewarm as far as reviews went.
I liked it too. Look, you look at the averages, like they came out with the numbers, and it's like the average number of people, like the average gamer who played it for 4.5 hours.
Yes.
It's a 3-hour demo.
That's right.
If the game was absolute dog doo-doo, if it was dumpster juice, I don't think the average would have been more than the entire actual length of the demo. I think there's a lot of people out there that ended up really enjoying it. And that's not, of course, just Xbox gamers. That's Xbox.
Well, that's what I think when people say, how's PS Now going to pivot? How's it going to become a little bit more? The way that it's going to become a little bit more like Game Pass is more like this Outrider deal. That's what you're going to see with PS Now in the future. That's my personal opinion. I have no idea. I don't have an insider. I'm telling you, because they're not going to put The Last of Us 3 in there. Okay, they're not. They're not going to put God of War Ragnarok in their day and date, but they'll take a game. Like, let's be honest, Microsoft didn't pay a fortune for Outriders. They didn't. They did not. That game was probably going to not do too well without the assistance of Game Pass. And I think we would all kind of agree to that to a certain degree. And that's the thing. But what I wanted to discuss with Wilmy, and Slomo, I do appreciate you bringing up that point, because I do think Outriders is going to be a marquee game moving forward. They're like, do you remember when Outriders was in Game Pass? That's when it made a major turn. And I agree. One way or the other. But my point is that I wanted to bring up to Wilmy was, and everyone forgets about this, right? Because everything's so happening so fast on social media, we forget about it. But a lot of developers came out when Game Pass first came out, and they thought that Game Pass might not necessarily help the industry. That's what and the reason that sparked in my mind, Slomo, I think you were kind of touching on this a moment ago, is these developers that are smaller that aren't in Game Pass, like people might wait to buy now. But, well, I'm not going to buy that game, because I'm going to wait and see if it goes in Game Pass. I'll wait and see if it goes in Game Pass. Well, that sounds great, us the consumer, but it's not great, us the people on this panel that start a garage business, right? Out somewhere in sunny California, and we've got a great game that people won't try because we're not in Game Pass, and people are not buying the game. You got a good point there. I think, although this may sound really shady, but I think Microsoft loves that. Oh,
because
yeah.
then it's almost what's the end result? You go put your game in Game Pass.
Better be in Game Pass, right?
You might as well cut. You may not have intended to put your game in Game Pass.
Yes.
Because so many people thought that your game was going to go to Game Pass. Hey, your sales suck, and now you need a boot.
And now it's a deterrent. It's a deterrent not to be in Game Pass. Microsoft knows all of this. That's why I say be careful sometimes what you cheer for. Things can be really, really great at first, and then it becomes, to use Brap's analogy before, it can be Skynet. You've got to kind of just take a step back and say, okay, I like what they're doing here, but competition's a beautiful thing. And once Microsoft buys all this talent and then scares the talent that's not into it to say, well, you're not in Game Pass, so customers are not buying your game. Well, that's not good either. But we don't talk about that. You can't. Go ahead.
But I also think that those smaller studios may not have even had a chance to get to the table.
They might not.
They might not. Just the way the economics of game development's working. So I understand your point. I think it's a great point, but I also think that in part the way things are going now anyway, those studios may have never had the opportunity to make that game. I mean, go back to what Todd Howard's saying, and I really believe Arcane, and I love Arcane Studios.
I do too.
Probably would have shut down if it wasn't for this deal.
Yes, I love Arcane.
You got that dev from Descenders saying that their sales quadrupled from what they estimated the game to be. So you're always going to have Game Pass. By the way it's structured, you're always going to have developers who are willing to take that chance to put their game in there, because whether you're the little guy who is making their first game and you want the exposure, because being in Game Pass is going to get you more eyes on your game than just being in the Xbox store, period. And it's there's thousands of games in that store versus the 200 games that are just in Game Pass. You're going to get more eyes by the averages.
Well, think about this.
You're the bigger developer that is like, well, we have a lot of faith in our game, but our publisher doesn't. But then, since we believe our game is going to be a major hit, let it go into Game Pass. We'll see what happens, and if it's really good, it's going to show by the number of people who play it and enjoy it.
Don't forget some of the Slow-mo. Don't forget some of these third-party games. We'll use Outriders for an example, and I don't know what the contractual agreement is here. But you could buy the new movie that comes out next week. I'm making this up with Pierce Brosnan, right? A big action movie with him in it. Yeah, that's been 10 years, 15 years, right?
Bronson.
You like that?
25 years.
Hey,
I just saw
he
he's
could be Black
starring.
Adam.
He's starring in.
His hip trying to do an action movie.
No,
Well,
he's
he's-
Black Adam.
He's in the. That's why I saw that. So he's going to be starring in a new.
He's not Black Adam.
No, he's not.
No,
He's,
no,
he's
not Black
in the
Adam. He's gonna
movie.
be
He's in the
Black
movie.
Okay, about to say.
But my point being is, you can buy those. You can buy a new action movie, right? You like that? You can buy a new action movie right now on the Amazon store, on Apple, on the. So what I'm saying is future, not Outriders, but a third-party game like that. If PS Now and Xbox Game Pass tend to flock to these third-party deals like this, well, Sony could have the same game in their service. Like, it's not necessarily going to be exclusive to these streaming services. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that you'll be able to play a future type of Outriders on PS Now and on Xbox Game Pass. I don't think they'll have that game exclusive. Now, if they do, they do, but I highly doubt that. I think that they're going to have this as almost as a store, and if you're a subscription, if you're a member, you get to play it over there. It's the same way over there. Like any movie that comes out, right? A movie comes out, you can buy it on the Apple Store, you can buy it on Microsoft, you can buy it on Amazon Prime. You can buy it anywhere you want and then watch it. You can consume the content as you wish. I think that'll happen with the third-party games. I think because the focus here, the reason Microsoft's spending all this money is the exclusive you can only play here is their first party. It won't be the third-party deals they cut in the future. That gets to be costly and out of hand, and they're not going to do that with all these games. I don't think so. I could be wrong.
Man, you'll be able to buy these games in Mooch's kitchen.
Say again, Forte?
I said you'll be able to buy all these games in Mooch's kitchen in a minute.
I love it. We're going to be cooking something up. I'll tell you that much for you.
I did want to point something out
Hold on,
based
slow
off of. All right, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Before you go, sir, first of all, I want to say congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Man. Super proud of you. Didn't even know it happened until Brap said it. I went to go look at the channel and I was like, yo, what happened overnight?
Yeah, let me tell you something, Forte. Slow-mo didn't want people knowing. I think it was the whole thing.
I don't think he did.
Listen, bro.
He knew what was coming if he hit 1,000.
Listen,
no,
bro.
look, man. I was on Breakfast with Boom, and we were having a good conversation, and Boom was like, "Hey, everybody, sub to Slow Mo channel real quick," and I was just like, "Yeah, okay, no big deal." Next thing I know, like Big Cloud's like, "Yo, Slow Mo, you gotta play Bugsnax, man." I was like, "Oh wait, hold on." but no,
you gotta get the platinum too.
That's great.
Listen. Let's put the Bugsnax stuff aside. You worked hard on that channel, you know. As much as it's gonna be fun as heck to watch you struggle. I'm proud of you for the work that you put into that channel, and you deserve every bit of that 1,000.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man. I definitely appreciate that, bro.
You deserve much more, Slow-mo.
Yeah, man.
I completely agree. Completely agree.
I need you guys to stop. You know, this all this soft talk is making me.
Well, Brad,
well, let me
cheese and all that. Now it's like it's getting out of control.
Yo, let me say, Forte, go ahead and finish up. I do have a couple super chats to get to.
I also want to clarify my super chat. No, what I was saying was.
Yeah, I didn't even get to your other one. Go ahead.
Yeah, you guys were talking about how if Sony could have like a bridge where they would say instead of it being just in their day and date, but you can buy it at a $30 price point and then you have access to it.
Yes.
What I'm thinking is that's a great move if you actually own that game. Are you paying for just the ability to say, as long as I have this subscription, I have this game? Or are you actually going to own that game if you have PlayStation Now and you cancel your subscription? Because right now, the biggest difference is with Xbox games, they're not ever going to leave the service because they're tied to Xbox and they're tied to Microsoft in general. So you never have to really buy those games unless you just truly want to support the developer. Versus the difference would be what you guys were saying is if they did make it so they'll show up in the service, but only if you pay for it, like even at a discounted rate. Would you still own that game if you cancel the service, or would it be like they're doing with the whole deal with like they're doing with Disney Plus,
Black Widow,
just paying for a license just to play it just to watch it that one time. Then once you do over that 24, 48 hour period, then you don't have access to
on Disney Plus. Like I did that with was it Raya and the Last Dragon? My kids wanted to see that, so I dropped the $30 on it. Hey, that's cheaper than me taking my kids to a theater and spending over $100. So I'm like, sure, why not? They've been able. You get the license to watch it as many times as you want within Disney Plus after that. So after it's in there, you have access. Like they've watched it like 5 or 6 times at this point, and I think I put the money in on it when it first showed up, like that first Friday it was in there. So yeah,
Yeah.
like I know not everything is like that, but that's how Disney Plus is doing it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only thing I was saying. If it's a situation where you pay that $30 and you have access to a game like Last of Us or Horizon Zero Dawn Part 2, then that's a great move. But if you're paying a subscription service and then you're paying on top of that just to have the game in the service day one, even knowing it's at a cheaper price, I don't know how I really feel.
Oh no, I'm not down with that at all, Forte.
Right.
Not at all.
That's what I was saying when y'all were saying, because I think that kind of confused the
That was
people, like,
what you just said was like 8 sentences, and you put that all into about 12 words. That was not fair, Forte. That's not fair. How am I supposed to know that? I'm only kidding, by the way. All right, the great Marty Bison. Shout out to the great Marty Bison. I'm late to the party. What are you guys talking about, Marty? You know exactly what we're talking about. Shout out to Dreadpool, who's here. He says, "What's wrong with expanding your game? Giving you more story. Don't let the developers deserve money for work they did. Quit double backing your words." So shout out to Dreadpool. He's not liking that. And the great Gaming Forte, who was here at the end, he says, "Yo, so happy for Slow-Mo 1000. Hype, baby. Love you." There it is. Right there from the DPS. One side of the microphone to the other. Guys, I got to be honest with you. I do want to talk about this, though. We kind of talked about that dollar deal to death. And WilmyHood, could you pull?
Hey, Mooch, before you do that, can I mention one thing I was going to say before Gaming Forte came in? Me watching your Control gameplay got me thinking about, this is a great example of how Game Pass can kind of help some developers, because Control didn't sell well. We all know the game never charted on any of the sales charts.
That's a shame.
MPD.
I loved it. I played it when it came out. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great game. And it never charted at all. And doing the traditional sales format of the video game industry, this could have really put Remedy in a really bad situation, because they don't make a lot of games quickly. So, but all the deals they made with Control, it being in PS Now, PS Plus, it being the timed exclusive deal they did with Epic for the Epic Game Store on PC, and in Game Pass, they came out and said that they're looking good. They're doing great now. The game has been successful for them, and it's not successful because it sold well. It was successful because it was the quality of that game. Point. That services wanted that game in their service, because they bolstered their service. And that now they got like a 3-year deal with Epic for 3 games, and the company's got a bright future. So it's like, that's kind of like a success story of how these kind of services can really help out a developer that is an independent developer. And most independent developers, they're kind of always trying to dodge the bullet. So it's good. It's good to see it when it works like that.
This is my second playthrough of Control, and I can't stop. I love the game. I really do. And my second
one too.
Wilmy, to be honest with you, one of the most underrated companies is Remedy, I think. Second of all, I think one of the second most underrated people in the business is Sam Lake, because Sam's not only a talented.
I don't think they're underrated at all.
Well, you don't think so? I don't think Control got a fair shake when it first came out at all. And I agree with Slow-Mo on that. It didn't do well initially.
Well, I think because the landscape's changed since Remedy came out. Like, I think a title's like Max Payne, it's just a different landscape now.
Right. Understood.
Where that game kind of fell through the cracks, and that's because there's so much stuff out there right now. There's so much more content that's out than when like Remedy released Max Payne or even Quantum Break, which I guess didn't necessarily do well, or Alan Wake. But
well, Quantum Break's another underrated game in my opinion. So.
Yeah, I mean,
I liked it too. I liked it too, Xbot.
But I think that goes to my point.
His story.
Yeah, but I think that goes to the point I was saying earlier, Mooch, about how the landscape's changed in gaming, where games kind of really do fall through the crack if they don't fit that that mold, that tentpole mold of like games as a service or Call of Duty or something like that. They get lost in the wind.
That's a good point. I mean, that's the one thing where I like to see the whole Game Pass thing and the PS Now thing like pick up a little bit more momentum, because people go, Mooch, don't you always hate it? Listen, I'm not saying because I don't necessarily like it as a consumer. I think it's great for the media, because don't forget, Brap, everything you just said about video games and kind of getting pushed to the wayside because there's so much variety out there, that happens with all sorts of media. Right.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Guys, that's what these subscription services are kind of like built to do. When it comes down to it, if you look at what's popular, you look at the Fortnites, you look at the most popular games out there, there's a certain kind of like continuous thing going on. Season passes, people are buying stuff like that. Well, these services, the Game Pass, the PlayStation Nows and stuff, what they're doing is they're rolling these single player experiences into a service that people pay for monthly. You know what I'm saying? So instead of paying for that one game monthly, they're using that same kind of like that same template that people are getting used to in the most popular games right now, and they're using it for a library of games. And I think that's going to be successful, moving forward, man.
No,
yeah, but I also think they removed that barrier of entry. Like if you're on the fence about I don't know, maybe you're looking at reviews and you see a game like, and I'm guilty of this. Like there was the first Wolfenstein New Order. I didn't play it because it was like a 78 Metacritic. And when it dropped on, I don't know if it was Game Pass or maybe I got it on sale or something, but I remember playing. I'm like, oh my god, this game.
It had to have been a sale thing because when New Order came out, Game Pass didn't exist.
Yeah, yeah. But when I got on the cheap, I was like, oh my god, this game's like a 90 to me, right? So it's lowered that barrier of entry for a lot of people that might not want to spend $60 on a game they're not sure about. And so now
the thing that we don't talk about though, and Brap, everything you said and I said recently, and even Xbot, it holds water. But a lot of the stuff, like again, in order for the Disney Pluses and the Netflixes, okay, they have everybody. They've got the hardcore moviegoer, and they got the guy that just watches TV kind of once in a blue moon, right? That's the casual to the hardcore moviegoer, like someone that went to the movie theaters twice a week, right, and pay that kind of money. They have that guy, and they have the guy who barely watches Seinfeld in syndication. They've got everybody, okay? That's my point. The problem is when you're like, well, Mooch, you know what these services do? They give people an opportunity to try this and that, but listen, the casual market's not trying Quantum Break. The casual market's doesn't even know. Go up to anybody that's a friend of yours and be like, hey, what do you guys think? You try Control? Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, that's the thing. So, like, this is a different type of media. And when you say that online, people are like, you can't say that. What's that?
I said, they're like Janet Jackson.
Right?
Control, like,
exactly, yeah. Control. It's like, but my point is like that's but like that's the whole thing.
No, I mean,
go ahead. It's a different type of media. You're not wrong, Brap. You're not. But you're wrong in the sense that that customer doesn't always necessarily exist like we talk about it in the community.
No, and I don't think it's an absolute. I think that the industry is so big that you're going to have subscription services, and you're going to have people that are going to go out and buy one game. They're going to buy NBA 2K.
Right.
B Money still ducking me on NBA, but that's another conversation.
Oh.
Well, let me
go ahead, E.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me jump in on one part of this because this is a part of the conversation that people don't tend to want to talk about. People want to celebrate the money earned and the exposure that it gets for XYZ game, for XYZ developer, right? And they like them throughout the argument that, well, typically, some developers make more money when they put their game in here. The thing that's going to have to happen with services like this, and I know like we keep making the comparison to Netflix, and it's a different thing. Gaming is consumed differently than movies. Look how many movies hit Netflix that people don't even end up watching because there's so much stuff in there. Netflix has like a horrible way of curating stuff that's in their service, right? So curation is going to be a huge part of this because everyone keeps talking about developers going into start like something like Game Pass and the model. We're figuring out the model with PS Now and figuring out the model with Game Pass. So what do you do with the developer who comes to the table and like, yeah, we're not interested in putting your game in there right now because it's not necessarily, you're an up and comer, you're a whatever, you're whatever. But some of the best games that we've ever played are from up and comers who have a new idea and you decided to take a shot and try it, right? But what if they don't get to make it to the service? Then they're still going to go ahead and put their game up there. And then people say, oh, that looks interesting, but I'll wait for it to come. But there's no guarantee that it's going to come.
Yeah.
Has anybody played the game Get Even?
No.
You guys ever hear of it?
No.
No.
Is it in Game Pass?
No. See, that's kind of where you guys are right.
Yeah.
Because the simple fact, this was a game, I just happened to, it was a Saturday afternoon, I was scrolling through the store and just happened to run across this game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an amazing fucking game, dude. And Mooch, this is your type of game. You've got the scary element to it. You've got shooting. You have time travel, a little bit of everything in this game. But nobody knew this thing existed. I talked about it one night on our podcast and actually had people message me back the next day going, how did we not know this was there?
That's the thing.
Because a lot of those smaller studios, like you guys were saying, don't get the recognition they deserve.
Wilmy,
You have no idea.
Wilmy, listen, I know you have Game Pass. How many times a week or a month do you sit there and scroll through Game Pass and be like, let me see what I'm going to play today? I mean, do you do that often?
Maybe once a week.
I probably do it like once a month. And I'm not being funny. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not even trying to make a point because some people go, so what, Mooch? That's fine. I'm not saying it's fine or it's not fine, but like I don't peruse. And a lot of those smaller games, you're right. There are some. If it wasn't for, I'll give you an idea. Cyber Shadow, I believe, it's a 2D scroller by Yacht Club Games, and they made the Shovel Knight folks,
Shovel Knight.
right?
Yeah.
Yep. And I went and I was interested. Listen, right? Those are the games I love. I grew up with. I love those types of games. So I'm like, I'm going to go buy that game. And I was like, I can't wait to buy this game. I saw the advertisement by Yacht Club Games. I follow them on Twitter. So I was like, Mooch, you don't have to buy it. It's going to come out on Game Pass day and date. And I'm like, oh, cool. It's great, man. It's great. But I got news for you. If the guy didn't tweet me and tell me that, Wilmy, I'd have no idea. I would have had no idea. Maybe eventually it would have caught up to me. But I don't know if I would have even known. That's the thing. I don't really peruse. There's so many games that come out that I just, like, to go play a game that came out 2 years ago that got buried in Game Pass or buried in any service. I'm not picking on Game Pass. I don't necessarily look, and that's the thing. I don't, and when you say, and I have my nose to the ground every day watching this stuff. And it's like my friend who plays once in a blue moon, he doesn't even, if I said Cyber Shadow, he'd say, God bless you. He has no idea what I'm. So, I mean, it's like, it's a matter of like, that's my whole thing. I think for Game Pass to be big, they want 50, 60, 100, 150 million people in there. And everyone's like, well, Mooch, 18 million is nothing to sneeze at. And, don't get me wrong. Like, let's predict the future here. Within the next 3 months, we're going to see numbers come out, right? And it's going to be, Game Pass is now at 24 million. And everyone's like, see, Mooch, you were wrong. They're going up. Well, I mean, listen, first of all, their metrics are scaled differently. It's not just everyone's paying. 24 million people are not going to be paying $10 a month. It's not like that. These are concurrent. These are numbers that just keep going on and on and on. That's a number, even if you dropped out, your number still exists in there. If you stop paying, you're still one of the 24 million. You were there. You know what I mean? You were there. It is what it is. So it's like the numbers don't really hold water. And I've read an article that 50 million people need to really be an active part of Game Pass for it to be what Microsoft desires it to be. Is that what they need it to be to live? No. They're trillionaires. No, they don't need it to live. I got it. We're past that part. That's the one thing that always I question. And everyone's like, well, Mooch, you're just not seeing the picture then, man. You're just not seeing it. I'm like, am I not seeing it? Or are you blinded by the light? I don't know. It's either I think that this game needs to be, or not this game, but this service needs to be for the casual market. And I don't know how Microsoft's going to hit that casual market unless NBA, Madden, Call of Duty, or day and date. That's how I think you want to make it.
But here's the thing, Mooch. 50 million is not casual, that number. And I've heard if they get to 50 million, they'll make more money than they've ever made on releasing like big AAA games.
Right. That's what I said. 50 million was the magic number. Yes, that's what they want.
They have to get.
No, they don't.
Like NBA 2K day and date.
Well, I mean,
but I do think that because look, Netflix didn't get Avengers.
Yes, they did. Well, they got
Avengers.
They got Avengers: Infinity War.
Yeah, but they didn't get day and date.
They did, or it was very like a week after it came out on DVD.
But they're not. Okay, my point is this: is that they're not. I don't think they have to get like Madden or NBA 2K.
One of them wouldn't be bad.
Successful. I think that there's enough there, variety per se, and I think if Outriders is any indication of things, that they could get some third-party games, big third-party games, and maybe not NBA 2K, and maybe not Grand Theft Auto, but they can still get some big third-party games enough to make this thing successful. And if they start putting out games at the quality of like Sony and Nintendo for first party, they're going to hit that number. I don't see how they wouldn't. Because
I just want to point out some math real quick. Okay, so let's just the numbers that you're talking about would be if 100% of people were paying the full $15 a month, which 15 times 50, if you have 50 million people paying $50 a month, it's $750 million a month, or $9 billion a year. Even if they had 100 million at this rate, would only be 18 billion. annually. For instance, Sony had 25 million revenue alone last year. So, I mean, it's not the be all end all, no matter how much they have, because they have to spend so much money. So even if they were to get 100 million, they're going to constantly be pouring money into this. It's a money pit at the end of the day. Look at Netflix. Hey, like we can sit there and go, well, Netflix isn't the best comparison. You would think Netflix makes a ton of money, but they don't really. They clear $2 billion because they spend all their money in creating content. Now, we also look at what happened with WB. They're putting all their stuff on HBO Max, but you know what they're doing next year? Going back to the theaters.
Right. They're all going back to the theaters, so they made money there.
They made a deal. They made a deal with the theaters again. They're not making enough money off of just the streaming services, and they have 100 million people subscribing, but that's not the same thing as your family of 4 spending $200 at a theater for the night.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
and you'll
what I'm
still
saying.
probably subscribe to HBO Max because they'll have something you want to see, so they'll get you to double dip.
And don't get me wrong, Brap, the one point you made that was solid gold was the fact that Microsoft doesn't need to do any, like they literally can just, like the numbers that Crap just spit out, they're fine with just being okay with that. Even if they clear $1 billion at the end, it doesn't matter. Even if they lost $1 billion, they probably still do the service. So it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, it's not necessarily like these other companies like Crap. They don't have to jump in head first and go, well, we better do what Microsoft's doing or we're going to lose our shirt. Not necessarily. Because again, when it comes to games, it comes to the quality and the content. It's not just I have a ton of games in here. Again, I know people hate the buffet reference, but it's a buffet versus your 5-star restaurant
too. Like they were talking about, somebody was talking about curation. Like most people spend most time just scrolling through Netflix rather than actually playing or playing a movie or a show. You have to be careful that if you have too much content, I know it sounds like a bad thing, but if you just got too much stuff, you're not going to really decide. It's going to be more difficult. And you might, like, if you're a smaller game in there with all these new larger games, you might start to find a little bit of a problem. Like you can imagine in a couple of years from now, when Microsoft actually decides to start releasing some AAAs, that, you know, some of these smaller devs might find it they're not as forefront. Look, Microsoft hasn't released a AAA in, 567 days. Right. So, these little devs, of course, they're eating good right now. They're not really going against anything big and new. So what happens when they're going against, a Halo and a Hellblade and a Forza and a Valve and a Fable, right? People might not be like going through there and picking the little smaller things anymore. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But you also have to make sure that if you have 1,000 games in there, it makes it's a very tough decision, I think, and that makes it, maybe a little bit too tough for some of the smaller developers. That's like how I think about it anyway. You don't want too much, like who that Mooch? I'm right. Like you scroll through shit, you spend more time scrolling through stuff than watching it. You know what I mean? Like I'm scrolling through all these. I
go through Netflix and I do more scrolling than watching.
And that's what I'm saying. Curation and curation is going to be like very, very important. And again, like I said. Also, what if you are not a dev who's good enough to make it into PS Now or make it into Game Pass?
Right.
Because that is true. Like, not everybody gets to come to the party in that regard.
Yeah.
Again, we have to see what the long term is on it. And again, I know people don't like to hear this, but everything that glitters isn't always gold. And you hope for the best, but you have to see how this is all new and it's still in its infancy. We have to see the long tail on how a lot of that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
You mentioned like you spend a lot of time, or you kind of scroll through Netflix, right?
A lot of scrolling.
Yeah, I scroll through. I don't see anything I watch. I end up watching Superbad for the 14th time.
Yeah, exactly.
But
exactly.
You're scrolling, right?
I'm scrolling.
But you're still paying. Aha.
Yeah. Yeah, but I consume watching. I consume watching and eating. I consume. But I consume the media differently. Like I'm not. Like I don't have PS Now. I don't have PS Now.
Though. You're scrolling. You're not consuming, but you're still paying.
It's a different form of media, though. I can literally be a zombie and have a bowl of popcorn. No. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not.
It's going to be the same.
It's not, though. That's where I disagree. That's where I kind of draw my line in the sand. I don't think so. Because you can't say to me that I'm going to go ahead and watch Superbad for the 4th time, right?
Wait, Eric just said I'm pocket watching.
Pocket watching. He really is. He is. No, I think it's different media. It's different media. No, don't get me wrong. I like the counter argument, but I mean, I got to be honest with you. I don't have PS Now, and I said this. Things can change. Things are always there. But once my Game Pass, which is subject to end in June 2022, I'm not renewing it. I'm not.
Now. Yeah, I got PlayStation Now because it's for me. It's
Did you do it for the dollar or you've had it?
No, I've had it. It's always the what if, like, oh my god, like what if something and there's gonna be I'm not disagreeing with you. There's gonna be people like you that are like, you know what?
Oh yeah,
if I'm not getting
people like both of us.
The return
Absolutely.
every day.
That's right.
Then I'm not gonna do it. But there's other people.
One bad mother in the chat. He goes, people don't cancel. Yes, they do. One bad mother. They do. People do cancel. Yes, they do.
People do cancel. They absolutely. People cancel Netflix. Like, and that's actually an issue that's come up more recently with Netflix and like Disney Plus.
Yeah,
like
I've seen more people talk about that for the first time in years.
Yeah, it's definitely an issue. Yeah, but I don't agree with OBM in that regard. Like, there's definitely that issue of canceling and how do you keep people engaged? But I'll say this: like, then you have people like me, like that like scroll. I scroll through Game Pass and I don't always download games, but I'm still paying.
Yeah.
So that's
But don't forget, you got to remember something here, and I say this all the time. I try to remind the panel. And I try to remind the chat, you guys have to understand, we talk games all day long. We podcast about games. We Twitch stream games. You YouTube stream games. We play a lot. I love Warzone, but if you haven't noticed, I love it.
Oh,
but
great,
right, the chat, by the way, all you guys in the chat, let me pay everybody a compliment. Every one of you guys, whether you think you are or you're not, you're a hardcore gamer. You're here. You're at other shows. You're watching gaming content as much as you possibly can. So when Brap says, Mooch, are you scrolling? Are you still paying? Yes. But you got to remember, I'm not talking about us, the panel, and I'm not talking about you in the chat or you listening later. I'm talking about the generic gaming customer, just the regular casual customer. Is this the same way you digest other media? It's not.
You mean my cousin who you played Warzone with?
Great
he only
example.
plays Warzone.
It's all he pays. Does he have Game Pass?
No, he doesn't. But he only plays Warzone.
Jackpot. The defense rests.
Where's Xbot?
Where's Xbot?
Yo.
Xbot, you've just been called to the stand, even though you're the lawyer. That's weird.
It happens every once in a while.
It does. No, I want to listen. Let's switch subjects quickly because we don't have much time here left, and we did 2 subjects out of 12. I want to ask Wilmy, but because Wilmy, by the way, I think the tweet of the day, and shame on me for not taking a snapshot of it, was Leonidas, who's on Gaming Beyond the Box. When you said something to him and he said, I don't remember the question, what was it? And then he said something like, I wish I didn't watch the gaming idea at Xbox. What did he say? Do you remember what he said?
He just said he wished he wouldn't. Yeah, he just said he wished he would have known before he spent all that time watching it. Don't feel bad. Myself and Forte, we were on with the Iron Lords during.
Oh, were you guys? Okay, so if you don't mind, Wilmy.
People actually cover that live?
4 hours.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people did.
God bless you guys.
Yeah,
we didn't cover the entire thing.
I'm looking at this list.
I have the list too. Yeah,
I didn't watch, thank God, but Despolat, Echo Generation,
yes,
Griftlands, Iron Corbo, Lake, Last Oasis, Lawn Mowing Sim, Loot River, Mad Streets, Princess Farmer.
I think Wilmy started drinking at this point. Go ahead.
It's a list.
And Wilmy doesn't drink.
Well, I mean, we knew it was going to be an indie showcase. We knew that going in, but the presentation, the way it was all set up, there was a lot of times, man, we just wanted to go outside and beat our heads into the tree because it was just, you had a lot of 2 girls that just kept talking.
Wilmy thought about the pollen.
I felt like I was watching.
Yeah, then the pollen is the only thing that stopped it.
There was way too many job interviews.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
There was way too many sizzle reels and not enough. Yeah. Like, you could take in those games, not put them in a sizzle reel, actually give them like some actual like 30-40 seconds per game of actually showing us what's in the game and what it provides to get people interested, instead of 2 or 3 seconds in that sizzle reel and then wasting upwards to 10 minutes per game on those interviews. And like
and that one game, the one that came before the cooking simulator, what the hell was it?
Wait, there's a cooking simulator? What?
Yeah,
dude. And they spent like 10 minutes on the fucking soup boiling.
He said, "Hey, Wilmy, we need a pollen simulator."
Oh my god,
that might sell. That might simulator in the game.
That lawnmowing simulator.
Yeah.
Come on, keep those lines straight, people. Let's go.
But man, I mean, they interviewed, and it was the guy and the girl that had the matching hair. Their hair both went to the same side, which was kind of weird and creepy to begin with. but they interviewed those people for like 25 minutes over that game. And I'm sitting there the whole time
game had
going
like a Minecraft kind of look to it too. Yeah, that game.
I wouldn't even say
fishing
Minecraft. Yeah, it was like they were making sushi. I don't fucking know what this part of the game is. And
they're making
hold on, was it called Soup Pot?
No, it was the one before that.
That's the studio's name, I think.
Hey, Wilmy, this sounds like one of those things where it's like I did set my expectations, and
the studio's name was Bunny Hugs. I do remember that. It was called Bunny Hugs
Holy
Studios.
shit, this was a 3.5-hour show.
It was long.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
and I even made the comment, I'm sorry, if your studio's named Bunny Hug, you have 0% of me buying or playing your game.
And Wilmy gives everybody a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I play some pretty off the wall shit on PC, and I just don't see it. And I mean, I knew it was an indie showcase. I went in with no expectations. They were completely fucking met. But the presentation, man, just
yeah.
You know what's great?
Oh my god.
You know what's wild about this is that Wilmy's like, I went in there with no expectations, and I was still disappointed.
He's still pissed.
That's what.
Yeah, I mean, it totally, man. It was just, I don't know. Did they just throw everything over to Twitch and go, look, okay, it's just indies. You deal with it. We don't want to deal with it here. You do it your way. And they took all their Twitch people, and put them on there in front of the screen. I get it. They needed to make money, but my God, it was.
Yeah, this was definitely Twitch trying to promote itself as much as possible. I was live with the Indie Gamer on his channel as we were watching it, and I actually know one of the streamers, Story Mode Beta, that was on there. And she's a good streamer, but this is what they were trying to do. They had all their streamers doing all these interviews, and that took up the bulk of the time. It's like the games were the reason why you were there, but no, they were really hoping you were really like the streamers. So then, you would then go watch those streamers on their channels, which is why every single time one of them popped up, they made sure that you knew what their Twitch handle was right under their name, so that you don't forget it, and that you would, hopefully when this is over, you go watch them. Because why? Because you watching them is giving them more money. That ad revenue. That's what they care about.
I wanted to see Stalker 2.
Yes.
That was what I really wanted to see. All I've learned about Stalker 2, the outfits are pretty, and you can take Homeboy's
guns
teeth
look
out.
realistic.
Yeah, you can knock his teeth out like he's from fucking Alabama. You can give him a gold grill, do whatever. I get it. After the apocalypse, you're not gonna be able to find a dentist. But why do I fucking care if my character doesn't have teeth?
No, I mean, I will say.
See it.
So here's the one thing, and Wilmy, I'll ask all you guys that really kind of watched it in depth. I kind of caught the highlights, thank God. But I
there
think
were highlights.
Well, there was you can go on IGN, a bunch of these companies will just show the video games themselves in short minute reels instead of the.
There were some good games that were shown there. It's just that over 3 hours and 40 minutes.
That's where I was going to go, Slow-Mo.
You kind of start to forget what's there.
Why was it so long? Why was it so long?
The interviews
because they had 3
intermissions. They had 3 intermissions that were 3 minutes long.
You could even tell the developers were tired of answering questions.
Wow.
You could actually see it in the developers' face.
They were
the guy that was doing the
12
12 minutes.
And that's the thing. Developer interviews can be very interesting. There could be some things that you can pick up on, but you have to know where the audience is for that. So that's one of those things. We talk to you for a bit, and then you say, if you want to learn more, be sure to go to this YouTube channel or this whatever, and you go and check out more. I think overall, the bigger audience is what are we doing here? It's just.
And I just want to point out a couple of games I thought that were am really interested in. Astria Ascending looked really good.
Okay.
I thought Death's Door looked good. I was disappointed. They showed the same trailer for 12 minutes that they showed last year, and they did an interview. I was disappointed in that. But Song of Iron looked good. Lost Eidolons looked good. And this game that had the coolest name, Iron Corbo Kung Fu Janitor.
My God.
Yeah, that looked lit. Yeah, I was like, yo, wait a minute.
What about was it either Nobody or No One Saves the World? The same developers that did Guacamelee.
Yes,
they
were there. Yes,
people were hyped for that. I didn't really care for that one, but I get
I didn't really care for Guacamelee very much.
Past vibe to me, man. When I was looking at it, and that when it comes to Zeldas, that was my absolute favorite Zelda. Like, and I don't know. I caught a Link to the Past.
Oh, Link to the Past, good game. Yeah, good game.
Yeah.
I want to just do a quick shout out real quick. I've got a couple super chats here. Shout out to Zombilla Ice Cream, Mooch Maniac family member. He says, great show, guys. Hey, Mooch, you ever look into Biomutant? I do want to talk about that real quick before we end the show. And WoolleyGamer, he says, damn, how about that lawnmower sim, lads? Yeah, so that was another one that I saw. Well, I saw Jeff Grubb talk about it, so I thought it was hysterical.
Yo, don't worry, Wooly. You'll be able to play that on PlayStation as well. It's
listen,
I love it.
That's great. That's great. Viper
That's
XT
great.
says, I have no issues with dev interviews about their games, but 3.5 hours was way too much. It should have been split up into
the
3 or
Twitch
more
collaboration is what did it in, because
It's a good point,
I
Xbot.
agree, like Twitch, they put their streamers front and center, and then every weird game got like a 10-minute interview, and like people in my chat started saying, "Oh, this is a 4-hour show." I'm like, you can't be serious. And then I started thinking about the pacing and everything. I'm like, oh. Yeah, it is. No, we're not hanging out here for 4 hours for this, yo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was sitting back going, you know what? I've got some old phone books. I'm gonna go put them in year order. Put them in chronological order. I mean, it was really bad. And some of the devs, they gave them much longer, like this fishing sim game. I mean, no.
How much can they?
Nobody is playing this fucking game.
It's a fishing RPG. It looks like Minecraft. It looks like Minecraft Dungeons, but fishing. Well,
can I ask you guys a question? Did they mention that were all games seen today? Are they all day and date in Game Pass? Is that one of the big play?
They're not all day.
No.
There's
a lot of
games
them
that will be.
Some of the games
on
didn't even
Xbox,
get a date.
Yeah,
Right.
some of them did get a date or anything that, or even if they were really even coming out this year. But they did for some of the games that were going into Game Pass. They did say when the trailer was over, we'll like Xbox Game Pass, PC Game Pass, whatever. So, but it wasn't everything. It may have been like, I think they showed like 100 games, and when I say 100 games, like that's like a good 75% of that was in the sizzle reels. But maybe like a quarter of that might be going to Game Pass. I think I actually saw something online that said like 20 of those games.
22 are going to Game Pass, over 40 aren't.
Yeah.
Yo, but Mooch, Art of the Rally is coming to Xbox, man. That PC kind of like rally game that reminds me of like Micro Machines. Yo, that I'm excited about, man.
I can see. No, did they say anything about like games like The Ascent or anything like that were?
They showed it.
But I'm saying, but I didn't, because I didn't. I know I saw. Shout out to Jamie.
It's
Moran.
coming out this year. All they said was all they had was a release date of 2021. That's it. But it was, I think it was a newish. It was a. I had never seen a trailer before, so
that game. That's a game that I could say that I can't. I'm looking forward to that game. And Stalker 2. I heard a lot of Stalker 2 fans were a bit disappointed because it was the same footage they'd seen at the last showing.
And see, I had been waiting for that game, dude, because I'm a huge Chernobyl Light player.
Yes.
I played Chernobyl all the time on PC. I've been waiting for that game, and they really didn't show anything.
Not even a date, though, right, Wilmy?
The play. I mean, they
no, not that I found
that game's not coming out anytime soon. If all you can show us is like basically in game. With no background whatsoever,
player
just basically like models of weapons in a guy's face, then you're basically one step beyond concept art at this point, and that game's probably not coming out till like 2022, 2023.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, shout out to One Bad Mother. He says the Ascent is Game Pass. That is Game Pass day and date. That is true.
Yes.
Yes, the Ascent is.
Now, it's funny. I didn't have this as a topic, but it's almost that time. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. But it was asked by some. Oh, sorry about that. I have a super chat. Another super chat. That's right. Basement Radio Arcade Podcast says, when is Slow-Mo streaming Bug Snacks for a platinum? So not only do you have to play it, Slow-Mo, apparently you have to platinum it.
I don't have to platinum anything. I am not platinum that game. I will play it probably this weekend. I need to get some things figured out with like my scheduling and family, kids, all that good stuff. But I will play it. I will live stream it. That's definitely going to happen. Platinuming it, that's not going to happen.
Oh, wait. You got to schedule around the kids?
Say what?
You got to schedule around the kids?
Well, yeah. I don't want to be like.
How come when I bring up I have 4 kids, it's an issue?
Because you use it all the time.
No,
man.
I do not,
It's your
sir.
go-to
I do not.
excuse
No,
for
that's not true.
everything.
That is
Oh,
false.
wait a minute. You know, we broke a record tonight too.
Ducking B Money and NBA 2K. All my
B-
kids.
hey, B Money's been MIA.
My kid fell off
Wait.
the roof, broke all
No.
his arms and
My
legs.
kid fell off the roof.
I can't play right now.
Slomo, B Money's been MIA. We haven't seen B Money on Brap in 3 weeks.
This is also the first week that we
find him on live though.
I believe
Exactly.
I need
He's not on
Forte.
live. He's on live watching movies.
Forte, E, and Slow-Mo,
man.
can you guys contest that this is the first time that Brap has not mentioned that he was an Xbox beta tester, an Xbox Live beta tester? I don't think we heard it tonight.
First time in years.
So,
Actually,
shout out to the Ash and Luca.
I was an Xbox Live beta tester.
There it is. It's not a show without
I
it.
didn't mention it. I didn't mention it either. So
It's so great. Outstanding show tonight, guys. Well, listen, this is the great thing about Crossfire. And outstanding chat, by the way. Not just a great panel, but the chat was totally involved in everything here. I did want to get into Biomutant. That is a game that I've had on my radar for a very long time, and now it's finally coming out in May. And I got to be honest with you, I'm excited for it, and I'm kind of at the same time puzzled by it. I don't know a whole, even though I've been watching and keeping an eye on it, I don't have a pre-order or anything like that. But is anybody else in the panel before we say our outros? Is anybody else getting Biomutant or interested in it at all?
I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
interested.
interested.
What
in it.
intrigued
Yeah,
you about it?
yeah.
And I'm asking this as a volleyball. I'm just throwing it up there. Someone spike it.
I don't know. Just from when they initially showed it, it was just like the RPG element of it.
Yeah.
It just looked crazy. This is like the
Yeah,
little
exactly.
rat cat with huge.
That's what I said. I felt like you were what is it there?
Look different, yeah.
Ratchet or whatever. Not Ratchet. What's his name there? What's the guy's name? I always forget the little guy's name in Guardians of the Galaxy. Whatever his name is there. Racket.
Rocket.
Rocket.
Rocket Raccoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little
Or as
upset
Thor
that,
calls him Rabbit. Yes.
I was a little upset. Back for Blood got pushed back. To
Oh,
October.
I was pissed. I was pissed because I'm a huge Left 4 Dead. You can ask crap. That's all I every kind of innuendo or situation I can use just to kind of have fun with a game. I always use Left 4 Dead because it's my go-to. And for some reason that was the game I was looking forward to. And I mean, the good news though, Wilmy, we're both Halloween fans. It is coming out in Halloween season, so
And we will stream that.
yes, we will, my friend. You can go ahead and book that now. My day is already open. Okay, so it's happening.
Because I've already got it pre-ordered on my PS5 and my Series X.
That's what I like about Wilmy. Wilmy's everywhere. You can't even get Wilmy. That's what's great about having him as a guest. You can't
He's
get
a
him.
gamer.
He's everywhere. He's Visa.
He's a gamer.
That should be your game nickname.
I'm even on TikTok because he almost banned me earlier today.
Wait, Wilmy, you got banned from TikTok? What?
Almost.
Almost.
Were you showing your Gibblies? Is that what happened?
No, maybe that was the problem.
Giblets. Yes, it's great. That's outstanding.
Are you sure Fork Boys?
Everyone has already seen his.
Forks is all over the place.
Is that why you got slapped?
Shout out to Fork Boy. Guys, let's go in reverse order. I want to say
I wanna
thank
hug
you
him.
to everybody in the chat. I want to thank everybody in the panel. I've kept everybody here past 9 o'clock hour here in New York. Let me go in reverse order here, and I'll start with the great WilmyHood. Wilmy, I got to be honest with you, man. Let's just put it this way. You got to come on more often, and that's shame on me. So be ready in the DMs because I'm going to be hitting you up a few weeks from now, I'm sure. It's been an honor having you here tonight, and thank you. Let everybody know about Gaming Beyond the Box, and we await your return to Crossfire, buddy.
Well, man, I was glad to be able to make it for a change. And it actually wasn't your fault. It's because my business has just been so chaotic, dude, since the whole COVID thing started.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good thing, though, Wilmy. It's an outstanding thing. It's been a profitable, good business.
You know what I do, so it's kind of depressing at the same time.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But we won't get into that. You can, we won't get into that with your chat and terrify everybody.
Right?
Some of those pictures are great, though.
My sense of humor comes from someplace, people. But you can find me every Wednesday night. Look for WilmyHood on YouTube. We have Gaming Beyond the Box every Wednesday night at 8 p.m., 1 hour before BRAP, which we did not plan that. It just sort of happened that way.
Just happened the way.
And we do Gaming Beyond the Box every Wednesday night with me and the GBTB Nation. We do things a lot differently. We're not a very serious podcast. We make you laugh more than anything. We don't take any of this shit serious. We hate fanboys. We actually introduced the fanboy neutering program a few weeks back.
Lord.
Yeah, we've actually got t-shirts for it.
I gotta get a t-shirt.
I gotta get a t-shirt.
We do have
great.
t-shirts for you. You can get them on the site. And that's it, man. We just try to, gaming is the one place, man, people shouldn't be separated. because it's our hobby, man. We all love games.
It's true.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
It's true.
And you can look me up. You can find me on Xbox. You can find me on PlayStation. You can find me on Switch. You can still find me on Stadia, but I guarantee you it's been, it's just like August since I was on there.
Are you still a subscriber?
No, dude.
Oh, okay.
My name is still on there, and so is yours.
That's right. It is still on there. Yes, that is right. Because
Yeah,
you're always
us.
welcome to go back to the subscription-based service.
Never going to let it go.
Yeah, they're never going to let it go. And of course, you can find me on Steam. And it was great to be back. And Mooch, I look forward to coming back on in a couple of weeks.
Buddy, it's happening. So book it. I got news for you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. The great WilmyHood. And I apologize, by the way. I have Viper. Shout out to Viper X. He's like, Mooch, your gosh darn super chat. He goes, I have no issues with dev interviews about their games, but 3.5 hours was way too much. It should have been split up into 3 or more shows. Viper, not only is that very true, it's one of those things where another person, I saw a couple people tweet on Twitter, they said, Xbox did a great job with the past few presentations they had, and then this was kind of a step back. But I do have to say what Xbox said and a few others on the panel. I think Twitch's influence and having to have their streamers take a role in addition to the interviews with the devs or what played a role in this kind of the end result of what we all didn't really care for as much. But thank you so much, Viper, for that super chat. I do appreciate that, buddy. Let me go with the great Slow-Mo Backslap. Shout out to Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo, I know that you had a lot going on as well today, and you were able to make the show and definitely contribute. But let everybody know where they can find you. And congratulations for the 4,000th time on this show, for your 1,000 subscribers, and we all await that platinum and bug snacks, buddy. Great to have you here, and let everybody know where they can find you.
You can find me not platinuming bug snacks. That's where you can find me.
I was waiting for that.
But you can find me on my YouTube channel, Slow-Mo Backslap. Definitely check it out if you like it. Sub, it's a good channel. I know I do the content, but maybe I think it's good. Also check me out on Twitter as well, same name. You can check me and Gaming Forte out on Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, DPS podcast. That's Damage Per Second podcast. This next week will be on my channel, so come through, hang out with us, have a good time.
Awesome, great. And I apologize. The great Viper XT goes, Mooch, wrong super chat. He had 2 of them. I didn't see both of them. He says Slow-Mo said he will stream Balon Wonderland if he reaches 2,000 subs. Is that a blatant lie?
That's a huge lie.
That's a lie.
Viper, I'm sorry that you spent that money. I am not.
I was believing what Viper said. I don't know. I thought that was something.
I think you totally
every
should, though,
time I have seen that game, I have got like a queasiness. Like I felt like physically nauseous. Like I'm never playing that game ever. Like you wouldn't play for 2,000 subs Plus and it's free. I don't care. I'm not downloading it. It's never going to touch my SSD.
So Viper, unfortunately, I appreciate the super chat, but it looks like it's not happening in the world of Slow-Mo Backslap. Let me say this much. Welcome the great Eric Jackson here. Eric, honestly, it was fantastic having you here tonight, buddy. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing the voice of reason, which is also on BRAP on Wednesday nights. And believe it or not, you guys don't know this, but E does multiple podcasts. E, let people know where they can find you, brother, and thanks for being here tonight.
Oh, man, thanks again for having me. It's always great. Always a great panel. Always great discussions. Chat's always on fire. Good stuff. But you can find me BRAP Podcast Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock with Enrique, Forte, Slow-Mo Backslap, and B-Money. And on Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock with Nicholas Downey, Jared Eden, and Samuel Tobert.
And E, thank you for reminding me. The great Gaming Forte had to step out early, so I will say check out Gaming Forte, Gaming_Forte. And you did hear Slow-Mo Backslap talk about DPS Podcast, which goes back and forth between Slow-Mo and Forte's channel every Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So E, thank you very much. And then I've got the great Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Brap. Great to have you here tonight, buddy, as usual. Great banter, great discussions.
We're gonna have a conversation after we go off air.
I'm certain we are, Brap. There's no Crossfire without a post discussion. Brap, let people know where they can find you, brother.
Yes, you can find me on the Twitters of Brap_podcast, and every Wednesday night, Basement Radio K podcast on the YouTubes with Eric Jackson, Slow-Mo Backslap, Gaming Forte, and B Money 101. And by the way, we're gonna have Ryan McCaffrey on this Wednesday.
That's going to be great.
You will be there too, by the way.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so we're gonna have the great Ryan McCaffrey. Ryan was
Yes.
actually, Ryan's actually has not been on Brap in like 5 years. So we're excited to have him back on.
That's a-
I was going to say, ever
It's a
since
great
you were an
guest.
Xbox Live beta tester.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now look, we're gonna have Ryan on this coming Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
So definitely check that out. It's gonna be a great show.
That's
So,
gonna be a
Mooch,
great
always
show.
a pleasure, man.
Awesome, Brap. Great to have you.
Whatever you do, don't
what-
ask him about Teslas, okay?
He's a
Don't do
fan.
Oh no,
And
we,
wait
no,
a
we,
minute,
we,
do
we
not
actually
say
asked about
anything.
Teslas last time.
Yeah, don't say anything about his dog.
Mm.
Whatever you do,
This is true.
just warning you.
Not happening. I want to say this
Sounds
much.
like
a
there's
great
history there.
A great
Oh.
compliment that I got just now in the chat. Shout out to the great E. Murray. He says, good show, guys. That means the world to me. I'm going to have myself an extra drink tonight just for that one. E. Murray, thank you. I appreciate that compliment. Thank you very much. And then I've got my buddy here. I've got Xbot448. Xbot, listen, I got news for you. Great show yesterday. Okay, you had a great show tonight here. And I know your stuff's not over. Are you doing any streaming this weekend? Let people know where they can find you. And when are we playing golf again?
Dude, I've been waiting. I have golf on right now. Of course, the controller is not in my hands, Mooch. It's
Naturally.
not in my hands, but it is on. I'm at the 18th hole. I am down by one stroke with a par 5. Right in front of me right now. Yeah. So, dude, whenever you are down, I am down.
This weekend, it's happening.
Guess what? Well, I have the weekend off. I'm working Monday and Tuesday, but then my job decided to let me know that my plant is going on a shutdown for a week for inventory. So I am going to be around, people. I'm going to be around. I'm going to be playing games. I'm going to be streaming games on YouTube, possibly Twitch as well, just because I love when there's a streaming service actually in the console itself. When I'm just too lazy to put on OBS and get all that stuff situated, and I just want to stream and talk to people while I'm playing games.
Absolutely.
But I'll be doing that. Starting this coming Wednesday, and it's from Wednesday to the next Tuesday. I don't have any work, guys. I don't have any. So I'm gonna be on YouTube. I'm gonna be on social media. I'm gonna be around.
Xbot's
people.
not working, so he's moving into your homes. Get ready.
Yes. King Neutral coming to sleep on your couch, people. Yeah. But as always, man, it's always a blast to be here. Even with my work, I actually thought I would be here a lot less, but Mooch has a way. Like when I get off of work on a Friday, I find myself speeding home just to be like, you know what, I can make like the last hour.
I'm like,
of Crossfire.
No pressure at all, Xbot. No pressure at all. We'll see you for the last
because
65.
he calls your boss and yells at him.
Yeah,
that's right.
But of course, it's the panel. It's being able to, come in and talk games with you guys. But as always, these shows are nothing without the chat. So shout out to you guys.
Yes, absolutely.
All the
Yeah,
interaction,
good point,
all the fun, all the little pokes as well. Of course, I love to see it all. You guys are amazing, and I'm available next Friday as well.
Yes.
On time, brother.
I'm very excited. The show's not the same without the Xbox Defense Lawyer, Xbot 448.
You mean grip.
The grip.
Remember, spend more money on the pilots, man. I swear, this last one, dude.
We'll get you some real top-notch liqueur for you next time. I promise, buddy.
Disappointed, Mooch. I'm disappointed.
I promise better days are coming. The great Xbot 448. Then I'll do a plug for Crap Gamer. That's Crap Gamer Reviews on YouTube, and it's _Crap Gamer on Twitter. Guys, we will see you guys next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And look out for the Mooch on Twitch, the Mooch78 over there. We're going to be streaming at some point this weekend. I don't want to lock it down, but you'll see me advertise the hell out of it like I always do on Twitter. The It Takes Two game by Joseph Fair. So we'll have that game going as well. So it should be a great gaming weekend. We'll catch all you guys next Friday. Be good. Enjoy yourself. Like Wilmy said, enjoy wherever you play any game you like. We'll see you guys next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Peace out. Good night.
Battletoads.
Oh, God. You're still really yelling Battletoads, dude.